Warning. The following show features reviews from wildly unprofessional critics operating without the supervision of professionals. The thoughts and opinions held by these individuals are not to be taken seriously and do not come from a place of intellectual integrity. This show doesn't reflect the opinions of Criticless or its users. Viewer discretion is advised. What is up, everybody? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Criticless Cast Unhinged. We are back. We have the whole squad, and everybody is here today to talk about the new film, Clown in a Cornfield. Now, this isn't some big budget film that's going to be in a gajillion theaters. This is a small horror movie that's based off of a book that I have never read and really know absolutely nothing about. But it is directed by a guy who I was a fan of, which is Eli Craig, who did Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's the guy that made this movie. Chris's face is now shocked. But yeah, I was not familiar with him.
They say we can't hear us.
Oh, fucking fuck.
That's why I was making that audio. Oh.
Test.
All right, well.
Test. Anybody?
Me you're looking
Round two.
Okay, Xena says she can hear us.
All right, there we go. So y'all can hear us now. We are so good at this. All right.
So good.
What's going on, everybody? Today we are going to a film by Eli Craig. It's the guy that directed Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's the main reason I wanted to see this movie. It's based off of a book that I know nothing about whatsoever. And but I was excited to see that he was doing a new film. If you've seen Tucker and Dale, most people I know are fans of it just because it's wacky and ridiculous and over the top. But so that was why I wanted to see it. I don't think any of us saw a trailer for it, as far as I know.
No trailer.
Literally knew nothing about this whatsoever. So there was a little bit of peeling about that as well. And so we decided that we were going to make this month kind of our horror month. So today we are going to be talking about Clown in a Cornfield. Next week is the new Final Destination reboot film. And then after that, we're talking about kind of polling the audience and seeing a good critic-hated horror film that you guys might want us to review or talk about. One of the ones I saw mentioned was Event Horizon, which I have actually never seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and is a fan of, right?
I'll hold my opinion for the podcast.
I mean, my review is live. I watched that last
year.
year.
I think I did actually.
I've never seen it, but I'm sure there are plenty of others as well. There's a lot of, honestly, some really solid horror movies from the 2000s that the critics despised. That are some classics. So, but before we really get rolling, I need to obviously introduce the usual Spud Specs. I have Mr. Christopher Cowles.
Hola.
He's back again, believe it or not.
Come on, stop.
How many wives did you bring back?
What happened with the mail order?
Tones darker.
Was this a Hispanic wife this time?
See,
you went somewhere sunny?
Jamaican.
So
really?
Yeah.
Jamaican me crazy. No, it was good. It was a fun trip. Yeah.
Nice.
Spend time with family. Don't like cruises though.
Yeah.
Despise cruises actually. Not my speed. But spending time with family was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, all right. And then we also have Mr. Matthew Verlaque.
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
But yeah, so we are all back in the studio today. Things have been a little bit crazy. Just in general, life has been a bit nuts and just things have been wild. So I was honestly kind of happy to just get away and watch a movie for a little bit. Was curious what I was going to think about this thing, and we will definitely be talking about it in a few. Now, you guys have kind of gotten used to a usual vibe that we've been kind of going with these shows where we do our culture for boomers, we do our news, all that stuff. Well, the long and short of it is this: there is like no news whatsoever. There's the whole thing with the tariffs on the movie industry and stuff. I've already been on like 4 shows that I've talked about this week. Like, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
You're just tired of it. You're like, man, okay, we get it. There might be tariffs on stuff.
Right, exactly. I don't know how these guys do the thing where they have shows that they're guaranteed to do every day, and they just like talk about the same shit every single day. Like, the hardest of passes when there's no news.
Yeah.
They want to talk about the same stuff.
Well, it's like a copy and paste in their mind, right? You can just repeat the same thing you did on the previous show and smooth sailing.
I mean, that's the thing. Is a business for a lot of those people. So it's just like, hey, I'm going to talk about what I have to.
Right.
That's the money coming in. I mean, they're getting the super chats and all that.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of becomes the thing is they just lean further. When there is no news, there's nothing going on. You just lean harder into the super chat and pull stuff out of your butt to talk about and let the super chat just roast people that are on the show. So that's typically how it goes. And also, I did want to say hello to everybody in the chat. We've got Dark Forest in here, per usual. What's up, brother? How's it going? And we got Last Call with Troy. How are you doing, bud? And you always pop in as well. Nice to see you, buddy. And Wine Fiend, we've got Miss Criticless, and Epsilon Simi Moron is in here. We have
That's a great name.
It's really good. Yeah, he changed it recently, right? Because
yeah, I think it's a she.
She, yeah,
they.
You can correct. You can correct us in the chat.
You can correct.
Yeah, because
all of the non counts I regularly get corrected, and which is why I always joke with Jaja Binks, and I'm like, this is a 500-pound woman that's just a giant troll, and so he started actually like creating AI photos of a fat Jaja Binks with like it's been a whole
big
thing.
old like boobs. Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Pretty much. So yeah, and we've got the usual folks in here. Hello everyone, nice to have all you guys, and thanks for showing up. But yeah, so we're not going to do our news today, but we're still going to talk about what's streaming, and most importantly, Matt, you can go ahead and trigger it. We're going to be talking about culture for boomers.
I'm triggered.
Culture for
oh no, we got more lag today. Oh no. Yep. All right. Well, thanks for the heads up, Dark Forest. Well, hopefully it will iron itself out. We'd never know whether it's SteamYard or us or both or all of the above. It's probably SteamYard is the worst. They literally, luckily, we changed company credit card, and they were going to bill us for their highest paid service, which is like $900 a year. And luckily it bounced because we changed cards. And I was just like, I got you, bitch. So, yeah, so I re-upped for monthly because I was like, if we find something better, I am totally fine jumping ship at that point. So, as it goes, you won't be on a live stream and not hear someone complain about StreamYard, but also not really hear anyone compliment any other service that we all use. So
people like to complain.
People do like to complain, which brings me to today's Culture for Boomers. Thank you for the segue, Chris. So this is one of those that's gonna probably get me canceled by people who used to be against canceling. This is something that I'm seeing rising up, and it's probably going to cause problems because it's semi-connected to people that I know and am associated with and so on and so forth. But it is what it is. I call it like I see it. I have told everyone from day one that me, and honestly, all three of us here are very much moderate type folks, anarcho-libertarians, or, just chaos.
Don't label me, Blaine.
I won't label you. Just homosexuals. Some of us are that as well, But it's what we're seeing here is interesting because it's what I am now dubbing the woke right. And it is emerging faster and faster every day. And it's funny because I brought it up recently, and I hope that this doesn't trigger anybody in the chat at least. And, I know it won't either of you guys, but it's kind of one of these things where I called this a while ago. I had people ask me when we created Criticless why it wasn't called like some kind of like woke-o-meter or a woke scale or whatever. And I was like, because we need a left and a right and a center on this, because it is only a matter of time before the tables turn. It is the Overton window. Things shift one direction really far, and then it swings back the other. And I think we are on another swing going back the other way. And I am dealing with a lot of very, very sensitive right-wing folks that are just not liking to be questioned or criticized. And I'm seeing it everywhere.
And see, that's the thing. And this is always going to happen because it is a pendulum. And it's always going back and forth. And it's the same for all politics, where you can dig in so long in your beliefs, and then eventually your beliefs start getting, incorporated into the popular society or getting disproven or whatever. And then you start becoming the squeaky wheel.
Right.
And so it was only a matter before this kind of happened.
For sure. Well, and we've seen it, like people have been talking about forever with how the left has been for a long time, is it not only becomes an identity, but it becomes a borderline religion. And people start leaning into this part of politics. It starts becoming their identity. And all of a sudden you can't see anything outside of that lens. And it just, so one of the terms that I was kind of using recently was that it seems like a lot of people are punching at ghosts, where it's like, they're just flailing around trying to attack something that might or might not be there. And maybe the ghost was there, day or two ago, whenever, a month or so ago, the ghost was there. It was spooking you out, giving you the creeps, right? You're swinging at it, you're punching. And all of a sudden the ghost is like, fuck off, I'm going to haunt another house. And so you don't have a ghost anymore. But these same people are like, there's a fucking ghost in this house. And they're still just flailing around at these ghosts. And I think that that's what we have here is a bunch of punching at ghosts where sometimes the ghost is there, sometimes it's not, but they're going to flail at it one way or the other.
Yeah.
And it just really feels like that. I don't know. And I don't know if y'all have been seeing it. And I'm not even talking about just this like YouTube sphere or this like entertainment bubble. I'm talking about all over. And I'm talking about it goes from big personalities to small all over.
I think the problem with all of this is social media.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people, and this is always what happens, and this happened during COVID and everything, where people want to be as loud as they can be because they know it'll get them viewers. And so they're like, well, we're going to be the squeaky wheels.
Right.
And as we know, the squeaky wheel is the loudest voice in the room because they're normally just freaking annoying.
Right.
And I wonder if that's just the same thing where everything, because now Trump's president and like things are happening how Trump wants it to happen and how they were all been promising and all that jazz. Like those people,
you get emboldened.
The right side is now just like, well, crap, like everything's happening. How do we keep people interested
keep
in what
the
we're saying?
Conversation, keep the attention, keep the and also it's like, so I won't call anybody out as far as any users or anything, but I actually, and this is actually not anything negative about a user. No, this is nothing negative. I actually had a user who's very much more left leaning come to me because I started just saying things to people and I'm like, can we chill? Like, can we not like, can we not do this? Can we not attack people for not thinking that something's like woke or just finding something enjoyable or, you know, like, let's not come after each other. Let's just take a chill pill. We don't need to punch ghosts. Like, let's just temper it down. And one of our users popped in and was like, thank you. Like, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And they were literally like, I was honestly debating on uninstalling the app because I'm so sick of everybody calling everything woke and half the time it's not. And he's like, I feel like even as someone on the left, this person, they were like, you know, even as someone in that kind of camp, they're like, I feel like things have been getting better because I've been having a problem with a lot of that too. Like the problem is that I'm instantly pushed away when I see things and nothing's there and you're just screaming at it.
Yeah,
man. I feel so vindicated right now. Yeah, this has been me for the past 5 years. But no, it's just people being people. You know, people are going to be people regardless. Like, I understand that social media can be a catalyst or an enabling feature for people to get their voice out there. But it's just people. People being people.
That's true.
It's always been that way, and it will always be that way. We just have to have grace and mercy and allow these people to exist in their own small worlds.
Right.
And it's really kind of sad that people rely on these kind of things for approval or, you know, justification, whatever it is that they find value in. But it's never going to change regardless of what platform there is or what policy is out there, who's president. There's always going to be those people that think that their idea is the best and that everybody else is fucking sheep.
Right.
And you know, you gotta love them anyways.
Right. And that's the whole thing is where I've been, where it's like attacking people doesn't fix anything. Like coming after people, you're not going to win them over that way. You're not going to just like poking them and prodding them.
You're not going to change any minds.
No. If anything, you're going to push them further the other direction, which is what we've been saying about the left forever. And now the thing is this is where I'm just like, all right. And those of you that are more right related or whatever, like, let's make sure we're not doing the same shit.
Yeah.
And so I think that I'd say it to either side, period. And so
exactly, we
will see what happens with all of this, but it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. It's just kind of that thing. And one of the things that kind of, quote unquote, like triggered me about it was that it starts happening too, where it's like this linguistic thing where people start using a lot of the same words and terminology. That's just like, it's these buzzwords that usually boil things down to their simplest subjects.
Is it dichotomy?
It is,
because I use dichotomy a lot and I love it.
No, you're allowed to use dichotomy.
Okay, good.
The one that's been getting on my nerves is slop. And everyone's been calling everything slop lately. I know it's weird. You're not in the internet sphere.
No, I'm not.
So,
that's great, though.
Yeah, it is.
I do like slop.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing, is that right now what's being levied against all film, period, anything that's happening, any entertainment, whatever, they're basically just saying that it's slop, and that everyone who enjoys anything that they deem as slop is nothing but a stupid pig that's just going to eat up anything that's shoveled into their face.
Oh, we've moved on from sheep. We're on pigs.
We're on pigs.
Okay, first of all, pigs are almost as intelligent as us. So let's not start calling people pigs because you're not really insulting them. But that's great. I like that.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
Yeah, well,
I'm not in the sphere, so I don't know.
Jake brought it up too. He's like, "Oh God, it's slop an issue where not," and it's not an issue. It's more, and this is more of a kind of a me thing as far as like, it's just when I see like every bit of conversation people are using it, and I'm just like, it is a like they know it's a derogatory term, right? Like you're calling people pigs that will eat whatever's funneled to them, whatever. Like, and I'm like, if you accuse me of like enjoying slop or whatever, I do take offense to it, and I'm gonna clap back and call you a fucking asshole. Like, period. Like, don't throw freaking shade, like hateful shit, and not expect for me to just be like, you're a douche. Like, and that's kind of the thing.
And that's what's kind of funny, because this has been happening more frequently. If you just look at reviews for, let's say, Thunderbolts or Minecraft, there are plenty of people that are giving like Thunderbolts a rad or most excellent,
right?
And then you have this like army of people that were like, this movie was a bogus or heinous.
Yes.
And we're going to downvote, and we're going to tell you that you're wrong.
And how dumb you are.
Yeah.
And how you like the slop. And it's just like,
Chris is making
I want to slop it up over here.
Yeah, slop it up.
Because I've not seen it, nor have I seen your review
like
of
it
it.
A lot, by the way.
Is Thunderbolts good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we both liked. I think we both give it most excellent.
Yeah.
So
I've been on a boat with like no internet, so I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. It's you will like it a lot. We were discussing it actually the other day.
All right.
Yeah, we think you're gonna like it a whole lot. But I have been called a complete and total absolute retard for enjoying it. So yeah, that has nothing to do with my enjoyment of the film. That is just a naturally occurring
of truth in every joke.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's one of those things, like, it's not the end of the world, it's whatever. It's just, it's kind of one of these overused words. It's kind of like when woke lost its meaning. Like, I'm like, this is already getting used so much that it's losing its meaning. Like, you're just calling everything
was
that.
woke.
Yes,
everything was woke. This was woke. That was woke. I hated woke, that ideology from the beginning, because it was overused so much. Like Chris did over there.
I know Chris definitely hated it. It drove him nuts. Anytime anybody talked about any of it.
Well, it's because that's all people would talk about. And it was just continuously,
people.
This is woke, that's woke,
Listen,
this is woke.
Chris, as I
gave Blaine so much shit for using woke.
I did
so much,
and I used it early on before it was.
He's a groundbreaker.
He's
a hipster when it came to the woke thing.
Yeah, but
I love you always.
Well, and I abandoned it at a point as well.
You did.
So, yeah, it just,
and I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that means a lot.
Thanks.
And that's what's funny, and that's what Sid and I have joked about, is like, even in our personal spheres in different places, like regularly, I would stay, especially back in my previous job. I was always listening to podcasts, always like just staying up on top of everything that was going on. If it was a news event, if it was anything happening, I knew it. And so it led to me ranting about a bunch of shit, which made me come across always as the most conservative freaking person in the room, because it was during the hard left phase. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, why are we all freaking fighting? Why is like language changing? Why is the dictionary deleting words? Like, why is all this crazy shit happening? It's driving me nuts. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's really funny now for me to be in this space, for me to be more active. And now I am literally considered like a freaking leftist in half of these communities that I am in. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, why am I the guy?
I think it's very important, and we should take this time that we're in right now, socially, economically, to reflect on our past choices and to understand that change is good.
Yeah.
And to not belittle people for changing their opinions or learning, because that's what change is, right? You're learning. So
and if you stay the same forever, you hold the same beliefs forever, you're not expanding your mind, you're not challenging yourself, there's no growth there. And that's the thing that we were talking about before, where it kind of is this complicated, weird thing where these people that have built these entire platforms, even just these strictly political people, it's like, when there's a big shift, what do you do now that we're in this YouTube age? We haven't really seen it yet, where these people with these huge platforms, all of a sudden there's a giant pivot. Are you going to pivot with it? Like someone like Candace Owens, who's now getting endless crap for basically calling out things. She's not shifted her political beliefs really, but she's just calling things out. And so it's like, we're already seeing certain people not towing the line and catching a lot of crap. And so
she's getting shit from the right.
Oh yes. Big time. Big time.
Oh yeah. And it's super funny because and this is the problem with Fox and CNN. They both just decide to dig in on each side's opinion, and they just completely ignore the facts or other things that are happening. And they'll might every once in a while be like, oh, look, we're right. But then half the time they just kind of ignore these other stories that are going on. They could be actually reporting on this stuff. And I feel like a
Right.
lot of people are doing that, where Candace Owens, as you were saying, like,
Yeah.
she is still just actively being a reporter. She's
Right.
like, this,
And
what is
actually
this?
reporting?
Right.
Like really reporting on
Because
it.
people like sensationalism,
Yes.
right? So
right.
they want the big
It's kind of like
shiny.
the sex sells, right?
Yeah,
Like the,
exactly. The Rage is really the current big seller and
Right.
has been for a while.
Oh, forever.
Probably since like 9/11, honestly.
Dude, news headlines since forever.
Yeah.
Big bold letters at the top.
Yep.
Back when the newspapers were rolling. Like,
That's
it's
right.
always been a thing.
Right.
Rage.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and it's funny, Dark Forest asked if this was what we do all the time, or I do this all the time. Matt did for a year, and Chris is a Fed. So
Do what we do all the time.
do this Criticless. Do
Oh,
Criticless stuff. So,
yeah.
No,
I
Chris
got
is a Fed. He works for the government. So
I charge you taxes.
he is the tax man.
He wastes our tax money.
Yeah,
More
yeah,
like it.
he's the one.
I'm
He
trying to
knows he's
stop it.
coming for
I'm actually kind of like the Ron Swanson.
Oh.
I'm trying to break it down from the inside. I literally tell people in my office that taxation is theft, and I work
That's great.
for the tax department. So it's it's great.
That's perfect.
Not really, it's great.
No, yeah, no, it's not great.
It's
No, tax
it's
is
boring
Right.
data analytics and
Yeah. So anyways, it's just, that's one of those things. It's like me being in this space, me not really being on other people's shows and stuff. I don't want to hammer on this stuff, but it's
I'm
like,
just curious over, like, how long, like, how bad is it going to get
right.
before, like, the right realize, if they ever realize,
Right.
or if they realize, man, everyone's turning
Yeah.
even deeper into this all.
Right.
Like,
Because
Like,
that
how
is
is it
the
gonna
thing
get?
too, is that like I have entered this YouTube space. A lot of the people are very known for being like anti-woke, against all this stuff, which is fine. And it was a valiant cause for a really long time. And it's
Yeah.
not to say that it's all gone, and it's not to say that things are better, because they're not. It's not 100% better, but that kind of is what it is. And so the thing though is now, like, how do a lot of these people navigate this? And I'll be interested to see. And because that's the thing, is I've been getting, I'm now have all these users on Criticless, and these people that will DM me on other platforms and stuff. I've had multiple people being like, thank you for sticking to your guns. Thank you for not just calling this woke when it's not. I don't think it was either. I used to be like really deep into all this community or that community, and now I don't really agree. And it feels like a lot of people, as Jake has put, was like having that balance, and it is about having a balance. And I think that a lot of people, because of the sensationalism of the algorithms, because of how the algorithm pushes you to get clicks, to get views, to want to incite, whether it be to get the attention of the right or the left or whatever,
Right.
that's what YouTube specifically gasses up. And it's why we haven't had the growth that we could have if I had just been putting out sensationalistic, like
Hate
freaking
bait.
grifty hate bait.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to do it.
nip shots. That's what you need to do, man.
Nip shots,
Yeah. That's what people want.
Right.
They want to see your nips.
They want to see, maybe like every once in a while, just like slip a scrote,
a little bit.
just show a little bit of the scrote.
Do you remember that Super Bowl?
Yeah.
The little slip, the nip slip?
scrotes.
yeah, dude,
The
that
nip
was
slip.
a
Scrote
slip.
slip.
That would have been way better.
It would have been way better.
Yeah.
But so anyways, that's a little bit of my soapbox. And we were trying to decide what to cover this segment, and it's just been something that's been on my mind a lot lately, and I've been catching a lot of crap for, which is just enjoying things. And apparently you're not allowed to enjoy things now, because if it's not towing the line, if it's not fully against the message, then it's with the message, and you're with the message then, and you're a piece of trash. And
there's a lot of agendas out there, you know?
there are.
Right. But that is why Pacific Rim is the best movie ever.
It is. No agendas. Just anti.
I will kill you right now on this podcast.
You are wrong on that
on
side of the room.
Minecraft. He's going to kill him on Minecraft.
On Minecraft.
On Minecraft.
Like that. Pod
Yeah.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
Sure,
That's it.
whatever.
So
It's wrong.
yeah, it's the best movie ever. And we're getting a TV show. And so there's that. So, but yeah, that's it for your culture for boomers. What we really want to do now is we want to talk about things that are fun to talk about.
Yeah.
We want to
Or not.
yeah, or not. We want to talk about some things we've been watching. What's streaming? So, Matt, over to you.
Right.
Song hits
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, it does. It does. So I was going to make a special horror clip thing for today for us doing like when we do these horror things.
Yeah.
But today turned into a quite literal shit show as my dog was slowly dying and exploding with shit and has been for days. And so he ruined my day. So
And we can just console the people that your dog is not actually dying.
No, it doesn't seem to be.
Oh,
Doesn't
God.
seem to be.
Wait.
So he has a.
There's some
Wow, you're
double
not-
negatives happening right now. Is your dog dying?
So, no, he is not.
Okay, thank God. That's what I wanted.
We don't think he's.
Comfort the people.
Yes, cover. Yeah, one of the dogs. But yeah, Seeger. He's.
Wait, just one of the dogs? Is the other one
We don't
dying?
know about the other one yet. We'll see what
Jesus.
happens. You can't know
All
promises.
right, thoughts and
But
prayers.
yeah, he's I don't know. They're putting him on some medicine. He apparently has some kind of it's insane bacterial infection that is like taking over his guts, and it's just making him explode from the inside out. So it's really bad.
With diarrhea.
Yes, with diarrhea.
Not
for,
fire.
For now, he could.
It might be fiery.
Yeah.
Some fiery diarrhea.
It seems like it is because it is like him screaming at the top of his lungs, running out of the house, and then you just hear.
I'm a child.
So yeah, he's quite literally just exploding with Dookie. It's honestly, it went from being funny to sad pretty quick because now he's just very miserable.
Yeah, that's
Poor buddy.
So yeah, super sucker poop.
Super sucker
Absolutely. That is what is happening. And it is not great. So yes, but we're going to talk about what we've been watching lately because we have been watching a few things. I haven't gotten to play any more freaking Expedition 33. Chris, you need to play it. I think you will like it.
It's a game.
Yes, it is.
Expedition.
It's free on Game Pass.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
It's like one of the best games
I
in the past. I don't know how many years.
haven't,
It's phenomenal.
Is it though?
It really is. Cannot tell a lie.
I will try it.
I think you'll like it.
All right.
The thing will be is it's a story-based game. Yes.
Pinky promise. I'll try it.
Okay, sweet. I'm curious to see what you think. I know that you have problem with retention and staying
but
around, so we'll
sure
see how that goes.
Nailed that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I have not played that game. But Matt, what have you been watching? You said you've been watching a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so I'll just get into 4 things that we can talk about.
Okay.
So I'll
4.
start with
Holy
Hell
moly.
yeah.
which we reviewed. Nope.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah.
Great
We all
movie.
liked it. We all liked it a lot.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we rewatched it finally. My mother-in-law was in town and she hadn't
Cool.
seen it. I liked it more the second time I watched it than the first time. If I
Really?
remember right, I didn't listen to our previous show. I think I
Wow.
would have rated like a rad. It was
Right.
Criticless.
Yeah.
And on my second viewing, I gave it a most excellent 90% or 94%.
94.
Damn.
Yeah, because I
Holy
really
shit.
don't have any problems with
I
it.
have one problem,
What's your
and it's the whole monkey stuff. I don't really
No,
know the purpose.
honestly, I had that problem the first time.
Okay. Which I did
Rewatching
see it
it.
twice. I have seen it twice.
Okay.
The second time I was like, not as
Yeah.
like, you know. Chris was like, what monkey? No.
I don't remember a
Are
monkey.
we being real racist right now, or do I
No,
just?
the chimpanzee. There's the whole chimpanzee TV show where he murders. I mean, that's kind of a spoiler.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Or-
Yeah, yeah. You remember
Not,
that?
it's not
We're
racist.
safe.
No one's being racist.
We're
It's
good.
not-
Yeah.
That whole speech.
Yeah,
yeah.
Just being racist over in the
Yeah.
corner.
Yep. Goodness gracious.
Yep.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
because it's so weird because it doesn't feel like the same movie.
And it doesn't add anything to the
It actually
story.
Really?
On my second
Oh.
viewing, it does though, because it
Okay.
made it, for me, it just kind of,
Context?
it was maybe a little too heavy
Mm-hmm.
handed, but it just adds a layer about like you can't tame
Oh,
beasts and things like
right,
that.
Right, taming wild animals.
And they kind of already did that. You could probably remove all that and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
But it also kind of, I don't know, it did make more sense this time to me. So I don't know what to tell you about that, but I enjoyed it more.
Dark Forest is spot
Yeah.
on.
I mean, look, it's the company. It's the company I keep. I don't know. I don't know what's going on right now. I just couldn't remember anything to do with monkeys. But yes, you're correct.
And here's
You're
the
right.
video.
4K.
You're right.
Yep.
It
Hands
wasn't-
up.
Thank-
You got me.
Wow.
It wasn't me for it,
Wow.
thank God. Well, that's what's
Wow.
been funny too. It was like the other day I was on a stream with Beardo and he was like, "You can't trust short black people," and we were all just like,
It's because they're short.
Right.
He's heightest.
So the
Has
way that
nothing to
he
do.
instantly just started like walking it back, we're like, "But why, Beardo?" And he got so uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm
It was
sure.
great. He just like he was trying to just talk crap and like because there's a new guy on the channel and
Mm.
involved with everything, and then he was just like, "I didn't mean it."
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just adjectives.
Yeah,
You know.
they are. But yes, Nope is a cool movie.
Yeah,
I really
it's
liked
great.
it.
Yeah.
Tina, where did she? So she liked
Yeah, she still likes it. She like reread her review because this is like her third time watching, I think.
Wow.
So she like reread her review and was like, "Oh, I still agree with my review." And then hers was definitely, I think, I'm most excellent also. So, and my mother-in-law liked it too.
Yeah.
So
Sweet.
Wow.
now, something we don't normally do is talk about movies we don't like.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know.
So this is
Ooh,
fun.
I
I've got
got
two
True.
things I'm gonna shit all over.
Okay.
The first one,
Just like
Sin City,
Seeger.
A Dame to Kill For.
Wait, what is it? A Dame to Kill For?
I don't like that movie either.
Yeah, Sin
don't
City, A Dame to Kill For.
It's the second
Sin
one?
City movie.
Yeah.
Yes, I did not like
Yeah.
it at all.
So
I think it's a different director, right?
Nope.
No.
Same director, most of the
Yeah.
same cast.
Oh.
And so I saw it in theaters in 2014. Zena and I saw it together. And I remember leaving the theater pretty pissed at the movie. I was like, this movie is wrong. Like something's wrong. It feels soulless. Like I've had some conversations in Criticless about this.
Yeah.
I've read some other reviews. I've kind of made me think about it a little more. I'm like, oh, that does make sense.
Right.
There's something wrong with the movie. I know it's black and white, but it feels too clean. It feels too something. But then it's just like the stories aren't that great. And it's more of a prequel for some reason. And then they recast the main person, Wyatt McCarthy.
That's right.
Who was played by Clive Owen. And they replaced him with Josh Brolin.
Yes, I remember that, and it being really weird, and it just didn't quite work. It was
and it's like the main,
great, but like
right, and he's the main person, and it just it hits them, it misses the mark for me. I gave it a bogus, like
especially if it's a prequel. Like, why replace the main guy?
Well, they try to claim it's like he face gets all busted up, so they like reconstruct his face, but then in the movie they reconstruct his face, and you still tell it doesn't look like Clive Owen.
Right.
So I don't know.
It was probably just that he was busy or something weird, and
or he just didn't want to come back.
Right, didn't want to do it. But yeah, I remember not liking that movie at all.
Can I do a weird segue real quick?
Sure,
just to ask a question to y'all.
Segue.
What's your favorite Clive Owen movie?
Children of Men.
Yep.
Shoot 'em up.
Shoot 'em up.
The carrots.
All
that movie's so
right.
stupid.
It's
so dumb.
It's great.
It's
carrots.
Real dumb.
It's so dumb.
It's the dumbest.
It's
one of.
Yeah. I remember really wanting to like it and being like, it felt like it was trying to be like some other movies that I do like.
Yeah.
Dark Forest is on the same
I know. Children of Men,
boat.
10 out of 10. It is a 10 out of 10. If you've never seen Children of Men, freaking watch it.
I saw
So
it in
good.
high school, and I don't remember it enough to even opine on it. So like, I'm not going.
Dude, honestly, I need to watch it again
Right,
because
me too.
I might change my opinion on it. But
We
because
saw it so much when we were young, like back in the day, we used
did
to
we
like
watch it
just-
more than once?
Well, that was one of those that like when new people were around, we'd be like, let's watch it. Like if you haven't seen it, let's watch it. Yeah,
That was the movie?
that was one of them. I know I saw it many times. I'm pretty sure you did too.
Dude, my brain is so fried.
If you
It's
tell Chris something that happened last week, he's like, I don't think that happened. You're a liar.
look, I'd be the best drug dealer ever.
That never
Would never
Pass a lie
rat
detector?
anybody out.
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
no, like I don't know.
I literally, I don't
Yeah.
remember, man. I couldn't even begin to tell you what I did last week.
I do remember that
I
being a
am
good
innocent.
movie.
Yeah.
But
It's very good. It was always my favorite of his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
sorry, I distracted.
No,
Oh,
you're
that's
fine,
what I was going to say. I remember always feeling like the movie that you were talking about, Shoot 'em Up.
Yeah.
It always felt like trying hard to be. I just thought of the name and then it went right out of my head.
Smoking Aces.
Smoking Aces, thank you.
Mhm.
And I liked Smoking Aces so much, it
Yeah.
kind of made me not like it because I was like,
Like,
this
see,
isn't
I
even
saw
close.
this before I saw Smoking Aces. So I didn't
Mhm.
see Smoking Aces until like college, and I watched Shoot 'em Up in high school. So in my high school mind, I was like, this is so cool.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever seen it since. Like I
Okay.
watched like a couple times in high school, and so that's
Right.
why I tie this movie to him
Sure.
and not the other movies.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry to sidetrack
Yeah,
this.
we went on a super tangent. It's all good though. Chris, have you seen anything? I know you've been out of town.
Well, he had like
I know you
fucking
did have a
3
couple
more
things.
things to
Yeah, I
list
mean,
off.
I'll
Go
keep
ahead.
going.
You
I'll
can
keep going.
going.
Yeah.
All right, so the next thing I'll go something I didn't like, and then I'll finish on a high note.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
All right. So we watched Tokyo
Sandwich.
Gore Police.
Yeah, you were talking about that. That
Is this an anime?
No, it should be an anime.
Yeah.
This is a 2008 movie that is just epic gore. It's in the name, so it makes sense.
right.
But it is just
True.
endless like gore and blood and guts. And it's like the whole premise is that like the police have gone privatized and something has been engineered, and these people when these psychos get hurt, they turn into like these like gore beasts. And a guy gets his hand cut off and it
Mhm.
grows back. Chainsaw should be an
now?
anime, but this is like every scene is buckets of bloods on the screen. Like
Okay.
it's just like endless like gore and guts. And there's a scene where a person has been like pulled thin and looks like a chair. And so it's a chair person, and they're at like the sex club, and there's a red leaf where they're
Oh,
Genitals should be
all these pictures. What am I looking at?
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I don't think we can share any of that.
No, I don't think we can share it. This is
this movie is disturbing, and that was their whole purpose.
Looks super disturbing.
Yeah, this movie
There's like
is
a lady with knife arms and legs walking
that's the
around.
thing. They're called engineers, and they like transform into these creatures, and like there's like the premise could be fine, but
smash.
Yeah, there's some creatures in here that are absurd.
I'd still smash.
It looks real gross. It shows Chris's Asian fetish. It's like nightmare fuel. He's like smash.
It's fine, but it's just not good. I mean, and I halfway debated changing it like 15 minutes in, and I was like, I'll stick it out. I want to see where this is going.
We have two high reviews for it.
No, that's the thing. Some people love this movie. Such as Jake Stanley here, who said, I want to listen to talk shit about this movie.
Yeah.
I will talk a lot of shit about this
because Pickle Lips Miguel likes it, and so does Mario Kart 648. So we have two people that
and I guess it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
I'm not a squeamish person, but it was just like anytime there was blood or anything, it was just all over the screen, and it just wasn't. There is some cool creatures. Like some people did turn into some cool creatures, and they filmed this in 2 weeks, so it's pretty impressive.
Holy shit!
That they were able to like
total
of filming.
It's like micro budget.
I don't know. I guess they had a micro budget, but it's an impressive that they did it in that time, and I know what they were going for. I just didn't like it.
Right.
And so I understand why people can be like, "This is such a cool concept because this is so much blood and gore and guts," and it's like so in your face about it.
Right.
And it is making statements. Like there's these trailers, these commercials that show for like suicide devices.
We literally have Pickle Lips Miguel in here. Hey. Talking about it's like he was summoned.
Dude, I summoned you to our show. I should start doing this more often. I'll just talk shit about stuff that people like and boom,
summoned into the chat.
Miguel.
Yeah. So what's up, homie? Yeah. But yeah, so apparently Matt does not like this, but Pickle Lips does, and some other people apparently as well.
Yeah.
But you respect it for what it is.
I do, and I get what they're going for. That's why I didn't give it a heinous.
Right.
Because there were some elements I can enjoy. And that's the thing is this is like almost a 2-hour movie. So if they shortened it by like 30 minutes, because that's the thing, there'd be random scenes of characters you'd never seen before. Or there were just random people, no reason besides just to say, hey, here's a gory kill that has nothing to the story. So there was like story elements that just don't make sense. There's trailers for like the suicide devices. Like there was this whole like, and they're showing them on like screens like in the subway and stuff. And it was like, use this cutter because it's shaped like your wrist. Like it's crazy. That's what I'm talking about. And there's like, and they play them over and over again throughout the movie. There's some message here, I'm sure.
Right.
But it's just one of those things where I was
suicide
just like,
is good? Question mark?
No,
on Minecraft, and we don't talk about
Minecraft in game.
Yeah,
right in game. So I just think they were trying to say like this is a satire of everything, but the way they go around is just not something I enjoy.
Right. It's just that, like Xena said, it's the schlocky gore fest, like whatever.
Right. Which you generally do like. So I
can like them if they're done right, or like where it's not like so over the top that it's just gets boring. Because at a point it just gets boring.
It's almost too much. It loses its shock value. It's like it's just
right there with you.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So
same.
If this movie had pulled back, reined itself in some, tightened the script up, it probably could have been a much better movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But then again, this is a cult movie. This is a cult following movie where there's plenty of people that are like, I love this movie. This is
a lot of cults in it.
So
yeah.
Makes sense. So there's a thing that you like though, correct?
Yes. This was something Divosaurus Rex reviewed, and I just retained it in my brain that he reviewed it like a couple months ago.
Right.
And we were scrolling on Shudder, and it's called The Vordalic. And I gave this a rad.
Okay.
It's
can you
Vordalic.
The Vourdalak. The Vordalic.
Okay.
Oh, I remember when he reviewed this.
What does this have to do with?
So it's a French movie.
It looks very French. And
this is a new movie.
A lot of white.
That's what I have it on the
faces.
screen.
Yeah,
Matt, if you want to show it.
So many white people. Holy moly.
Very, very white people.
So
it looks.
white.
Is it vampire-y? It looks vampire.
It is
He did
vampire-y.
mention vampires.
Yeah.
It is vampire-y.
Okay.
Not really vampires because they specifically say, "Is he a vampire?" And they kind of laugh at him. Or no, they were like, "You believe in bulldogs, but you don't believe in vampires."
Oh, wait.
Right. And so I don't fool. So this is a weird movie, and this is why it's so good because it's like this dandy dude who's like wears his white like makeup with his like fake hair and all that, like gets lost in the woods in this isn't Germany, it's not France, it's further over more the Slavic region. They kind of show it on a map like this. They're like here in this area. Not that far. But anyways, he like gets lost. And so he's like, oh, I need help. I'm a dispatch from the French king. And then he like finds this village, and the villagers are like, oh, I can't help you, go to this house. They go to this house. And this is a serious movie, which makes it extra weird.
Right.
And so he goes to this village and he's like, yes. And he's like a gentleman of the court, you know, he's sophisticated.
Yeah.
And he finds like the one woman's like a gypsy-ish woman. And then there's like a guy who's like wearing earrings. And,
whoa, hold on.
Well, in this era that, well, and then you have like the other brother who's like this big burly, like manly man.
Okay.
And you're like, okay, this is like a serious movie that's going somewhere until their dad shows up. And he's the Vordeluk or whatever you want to pronounce it. And it's a fucking puppet.
Okay. Do you mean like hypothetically or like literally?
Actual like mannequin puppet.
Oh wait, are there strings?
Not that you can see.
Okay,
this clearly looks like a puppet with how it moves.
This is clearly a puppet. This looks like something the comedian Jeff Dunham would be using. Like this almost looks like yeah. And it's the weirdest thing, but everyone's so serious.
Sure.
So serious. Wow. And like it gets really dark and weird. And it's really good because it's this weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so but to give validation to this movie, if you saw a floating puppet man with nobody manning the strings,
it'd be terrifying.
I would be like,
no,
sir, yes, sir.
Like, they're not terrified of it. They're like, oh, this is our dad. Like, what? Oh, he just came back from the woods.
French. That's the most French thing I've ever heard.
No, they're not French.
They're Belgium.
It's like Belgium or something.
Even worse.
And it's just so weird. And like the two siblings are like, no, he's a Vordeluk. And the one brother's like, no, he's not. And that's like the lead brother.
Is it a made up word or is it something that everybody knows?
No, it's a French. No. In the family, they know what it is. It's some sort of like lore to their area.
Okay.
It's something they're aware of. They're like, don't let him in the house. He's a Vordeluk.
Do you have to invite him in?
No, I don't think so.
So he's rude. All right. Well, we'll move on from this one.
Are we on spoiler territory here, or are you still?
I mean, this is like the first like 15 minutes. Okay, I won't get into much like spoilery stuff, like
because it sounds like several people in the chat think this sounds really cool, and so I was going to say, let's make sure we don't say too much.
Yeah, no, that's all I'll say. But it is very interesting.
Okay.
How the whole movie goes. I mean, that poster you posted, or like one of the main posters, shows him like at the other guy's neck.
Right.
So it's like it's giving that
idea and stuff of this creature look really creepy. Like it's definitely a creepy looking thing.
But it's really funny just when they show him. See, that's kind of spoilery.
Right. Oh.
But
wow.
Wow. It's just an image. It's because that's the thing is like
it's hard to know.
It's hard to know.
Right.
But anyways, I would recommend this if you're into like the weird vampire-esque kind of movies.
Right. And it's on Shudder.
Yeah, and Shudder has a 7-day free trial, which is what we're doing currently. Cool. Nice. And so that's why we're just like binging all these horror movies that are like, what's the weird movie we haven't watched yet?
Right.
This one. So that's where we are. And I would recommend it. I think it's worth just watching. You can come out here and be like, man, you were wrong. This was not good.
Look,
but I was thoroughly impressed.
Some of these movies like this that are that weird, you almost don't know. You're like, you might hate this. And it's one of those too where I kind of like when it's in that realm where I'm like, I'm comfortable being like, you might hate it. I don't even care if you hate it. It might be weird as shit. I don't know. I might be weird for liking it. Like,
why even give disclaimers at this point?
Right.
You know, it's just kind of like figure it out.
It's weird.
Well, that's the thing is like I didn't really spoil it because it's it's not about that. It's like what I was talking about.
Right.
It's
Belgian puppet vampires is what I'm hearing.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
We'll go with that. But anyways, it's really good, and you should all go watch it.
Nice. I have a horror adjacent thing. Not really horror exactly. Kind of, maybe.
Okay.
Not really. I don't know. I think Chris actually watched some of it. Alice in Borderland. It is a Netflix original.
Single one. Yeah.
Yeah. So you watched one episode?
One episode.
Okay. So you didn't keep watching?
Nope.
Okay.
And this was like 21?
It started in 2020.
Years ago. Yeah.
20. Mine was 1 year off.
Yeah.
Yes, you were close. So I have seen a lot of people talk about this show. We have a lot of high reviews. It's almost excellence. And like Chalk Demons gave it a 97. I Miss Good Movies gave it a 95. Banjo Sandwich is in there, even gave it a Rav.
Yeah.
Like, there's a
Damn.
lot of people that like this. Even Common Sense, who hates everything, gave it a 90, which I really find interesting, especially with what he's picky about. But so a lot of people like this show.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah. So I'll say this. It says that there's 3 seasons. Season 3 has not came out yet. I think maybe it's come out overseas or something, maybe. But as far as I know, there's only 2 seasons. I don't think the 3rd one's out. If it is, I'm wrong, whatever. Like, but I think that a season is about to come out, and I think that is season 3. But so anyways, this has been on my radar a while. This show is like an amalgamation of Lost, The 100,
Squid Games.
Squid Game.
Yeah,
it's all of these.
Yeah.
It does surprise me in certain ways that this is not more popular than Squid Game. I think Squid Game was just like a perfect storm kind of a situation. But there's another element too that kind of makes me realize why it's not possibly as popular. This show is apparently based off an anime.
Okay.
It feels very anime. As far as down to the acting, the dialogue, all that stuff. Some of it is bad. Is the only thing I know to call it. It is one of those things where when it's in anime, you can kind of overlook it and you're used to the anime style and whatever, but when you see real people doing anime shit, you're like
the uncanny valley.
Yes.
In like an awkward way.
Right.
The awkward uncanny valley.
Yes.
Well, it's because they're like works in animes.
Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really translate.
Right. And so that's my biggest issue with this show.
Okay.
Is this uncanny valley anime-ish thing where it's like very expressive, like whoo, and like people just doing like weird shit like that, and you're just like, no one does that. And like saying really jarring shit that like when it's an anime, you're like, whatever. But then it's like in this, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Crack me up.
But yeah, it's so I'll say this. Season 2 is much better than season 1. And I saw all of these big reviews, and everybody's like, it pays off on all of it.
Yeah.
Like, because people accuse Lost and these other shows of being like mystery boxes, which is like just mystery after mystery after mystery, and things don't get solved and whatever. So far, they are solving things, and there are new mysteries, but they're working their way through these mysteries, and you're getting answers at least.
Making their way downtown.
Moving
Moving fast.
Yeah. What's the next line?
I can't remember.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so this show, a lot of people like it. Is I like how Jake said my mullet is talking, or the mullet is talking again. Yes, but yeah, so I know a lot of people like the show a lot, and I'm not saying that the show is bad. I'm not. I actually, and I'm still watching it. Like, I'm almost done with season 2. I'm liking it more and more. It is just the big expressive like stuff, the over the top things, and like some of the dialogue is just cheesy as shit, like some really, really cheesy dialogue. But I do notice this more honestly, specifically with Japanese productions, not even like some of the Korean things and other it is like a Japanese thing. It's like they've almost like personified the anime thing in a lot of ways with their films and different things, and it's like it seems to be a more common thing for me watching Japanese film.
I wonder if they're just trying to like highlight the anime-ness because anime is so popular, especially in like Japan. Right. And maybe that's what it is. And they're like, we'll do that in the shows to like kind of capture that.
Yeah.
Which I actually did watch some of Alice in Borderland once upon a time. I can't remember. I know where I stopped. Somewhere in the first season. Something about like a fight in an apartment complex.
Okay.
That's like a game of like tag basically in an apartment complex.
Yeah.
That's
like
weird.
Episodes in or something.
Thing,
So.
But
it's an escape room.
Yes.
With the whole, what's the one that I just mentioned?
No, this one was outside of an apartment, and they were like jumping floor to floor on the outside. I know what you're talking about. I think this is a little further on.
Oh,
yeah.
I literally only watched the first
whole
episode.
Show is basically an escape room. Honestly,
exactly.
Like, it is literally people trapped in some kind of world. You don't know why they're there, what's going on, and they are basically bouncing from murder escape room to murder escape room. And basically, like, most people die in every puzzle, and you get a handful of people that survive. And it follows these same lead characters, but it bounces around to different lead characters. Like I said, it's very, and it shows like people's past. It's very Lost meets the 100 meets Squid Game. Like, it is all of these things mashed up. It is very much that. And it's cool. It's cool. I like it pretty well. It's just, there are going to be like, if I was to show my wife this, she would be like, turn this shit off now. I hate this so much. Like, so there are going to be people that are not going to like this.
Yeah.
But the people that do like it really seem to like it. So yeah. But Chris, did you watch anything while you were gone, or?
I have seen some things in
Yeah.
my life. I did watch 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Ooh, the OG.
Yeah, the OG.
Black and white one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not
It's
black
not
and white.
black and
It's
white.
color.
It's
actually.
not that
Oh.
old.
We
but
watched that like back in 2020 or so with the kids
Ah,
actually,
okay.
and it was cool.
Yeah, and it's got Tiger Blood's dad, right? It's Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Thank you. Yep.
Boom.
Michael
Cubes
Douglas.
kid
I just
down.
knew the D. And you know, it's interesting. Very interesting movie. I watched this literally as a kid. I loved it. I wanted to own a submarine because of it. This and Sequest. If anybody watched the TV series Sequest with
Yeah.
the dolphins that could
Dude,
do
all
shit.
ocean, sea stuff, deep sea monsters, creatures, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. We don't get
Right.
enough.
Yeah.
We don't.
There's literally not
People
enough.
have kind of passed it over.
It's BS. I
It
think the
is.
reason.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory here.
Teach me.
Hollow Earth is real. There are
right.
actually crazy creatures, which also all this recent
True.
alien bullshit.
True.
Everyone's saying that all the UAPs are coming from the sea.
We call them undocumented now. We don't call them aliens.
Right,
I don't know what you're
that's-
talking
I'm
about.
sorry. Yeah, that was a slip. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
I'm just showing my boomerly ways. Yeah, well, honestly, I mean, the greatest sea monster movie ever made was Pacific Rim.
Obviously.
You know, so
Obviously. Most
everyone knows that that is the best one. But yeah, I think I love this kind of movies, and that is a cool.
Yeah. So
it's old. It's
it
dated.
is old, and it is still entertaining. I enjoy it. Yeah.
Cool. Did you watch that on the boat?
No, this was
Okay.
pre and post because I didn't finish it before I left.
So like
so
how much you watched it twice?
yeah, exactly. God. Oh, and then I also started watching, which I need to finish because I was with somebody that didn't enjoy the movie while we were watching it.
Okay.
But it was the shit. I can't even think of the name of it. It's
I don't know.
the
I liked it so much. I can't remember it.
What's it about?
space. No, it's fuck. Hold on. I'm sorry. I did
Wait,
not.
no, it's actually
I did
not
not
in
prepare
space at
for
all.
You
this.
didn't prepare.
Give me one
You've been
sec.
gone for so long. You just
Yeah.
don't remember the drill. You don't.
Jimmy
remember.
gone.
This is
It
what
has to
So
do.
who
It's
was
Kubrick.
first?
Kubrick.
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 film.
2001
It's the-
Space.
Yes, the
Okay.
Odyssey, Space
yeah.
Odyssey.
Got-
Never
2001
made it
Space
through that
Odyssey.
whole movie. Never
Brother?
made it through the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with my female friend that was over. Did
Mhm.
not enjoy.
female friend. That's
Don't worry about it.
Hold on.
Shut
Don't
shut your mouth.
Yep, this is the point
And
where
so-
everything
This
stops.
is why you didn't want to talk about
Yeah,
this.
We're
This is
talking about the movie right now. So it was very
Are you
quiet.
straight again? Is
No, he
This
brought the
week-
pride back.
This week I am.
Okay.
But no, so like we started watching it and it was like monkeys. Started off with monkeys.
Yeah.
She was like, I want to watch this. I want to watch something space related. I was like, fucking
Pacific
Space
Rim.
Odyssey.
What's wrong with you?
Wrong. Wrong and all corners of the galaxy. But I was like, all right, Space Odyssey. I've never seen it before, but it's got space in the name. Surely
Fair
Sounds
enough.
great.
this is space related.
Mm-mm.
Started watching it. The first 30 minutes,
The
monkey
monkeys
men,
and- yep.
and they find tools. Cool. There's a cube. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but it was difficult for her to get through. I want to continue watching it. This is a classic, right?
Sure.
But it is also like the volume levels so hard.
Oh,
So
yeah.
hard to hear
Just not good.
context. But made it till they did get to space eventually before we
That's the
passed
thing.
out.
Every time I tried to watch it, I'm just like, they're not in space yet. I don't even care.
They got
Right.
to
It's just-
space.
It takes forever. I'm like, these
We
monkey
got through
dudes,
the
the
monkey.
monolith. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I know that it's like sacrilegious.
Yeah, so I know it's like a classic and like everybody loves it. And it's like a staple of cinema. And I will finish it eventually.
Yeah.
It just might take a little bit. So at this point, I will give a pre-climax opinion without finishing it. It's a subpar. Like at this point, I know it's artistic. Like it's more for like
Right.
cinema
you
lovers.
really have to like study that movie to actually like
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it. I think she said in the comment like 40 sometime.
Holy
tried
Jesus!
watching it.
I'm sorry.
Her
Your
mom-
wife
Her mom loves this movie.
has seen it 40
so
plus
she's seen
times.
it a bunch of her life.
That's crazy.
And I've seen it like twice, and both times I'm like,
Right.
I don't
get it.
I don't like it.
I don't get it. Yeah.
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 Well, the first 30 minutes are meh,
Right.
like monkeys, human progression. Understand it. I get what they're going for,
Right.
and it's well done. Just not that entertaining
It's kind
for
of
me.
like that, it's that art house stuff where you're like, I feel like I'm huffing somebody's farts right now.
Yeah.
Like I just
Exactly.
why is this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the vibe that I get every time. And I've seen other films like that too that are like these heralded, one of the greatest things ever. And then I'm just like, I'm bored.
I'm gonna go to.
But that's why they call me a TikTok kid. So you know,
be entertaining.
Which is relevant for this movie. Good segue, because that's all I got to say about this.
But we actually have an interesting comment. So.
Yeah, we do. We have a $5 from Epsilon.
That's right.
So yeah, you want to read that?
Yeah, man. One movie that scared you as a kid, but is ridiculous now. Epsilon's is mine is nothing but trouble.
Yeah,
scared
nothing but trouble. Scared him as a kid. Nothing but trouble. So this is, I have it pulled up if this is the one from 1944 about two bumbling servants who are hired by a dizzy society matron.
He put 1991 in there.
I didn't see that. Don't.
So it's in parentheses.
That yep, I found it. Someone gave it a 1% or 0%. John Ray Movie Man actually gave it I disliked his review. He apparently deeply dislikes this. I've never heard of it or seen it. Oh, this is Chevy Chase.
Interesting.
And Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, Demi Moore.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd directed it.
What? How
and wrote it.
Never heard of this.
Well,
I feel like I have seen it.
So this
but I blocked
scared him.
And you're talking about scary movies?
No,
just irrationally like scared him as a kid. It's like
but it's sure.
Because there are those movies. I'm trying to think. I don't know of any honestly that have scared me like that. You guys?
I can't think of a movie. The first Silent Hill movie or first Silent Hill game. I remember watching my brothers play it, and there's like these creepy like nurses, and I was terrified one of those was under my bed. Because they're like faceless with like claw hands.
Oh, those ones were terrifying.
Those and I'm talking about PlayStation 1 graphics, which is laughable now. Like I watch them like this is laughable. But as a kid, terrified. Not even Triangle Head. It was those nurses specifically. That like terrified me.
Sure.
For whatever.
They have like blades for hands, right?
I think that's how I remember.
Is that
yeah. They don't have like faces and they like walk funny and they have like blade arms or whatever. Yeah. That terrified the shit out of me.
Yeah. I do think in the chat they put Little Monsters. Did
that messed me up.
That movie is terrifying. I showed it to my kids, definitely freaked them out. It has Fred Savage in it. It's got this blue monster guy. It creeped me out as a kid too.
That did creep me out. I don't think I was afraid at that point. I was too terrified of the nurse monsters to add anything else to my like docket of, but I was afraid of something being in my closet, and I can't remember. I've been trying to remember. It was like a movie. It was something from a movie. And I can't remember what it was, but I do think it was a horror movie that I like accidentally saw and shouldn't have seen as like a middle schooler. But I can't recall what I blocked it out.
I think we all have one of those where you caught like a movie when you shouldn't have, and you're like, it's one of those you don't even know if you want to dredge up. What it is. Yeah, this one I did not realize that Howie Mandel was the monster, which is crazy.
Howie Mandel.
Howie Mandel is the monster.
Bald guy.
Howie Mandel, the bald dude, glasses. That guy. He's the monster. Had no idea.
Yeah.
But that movie's wild.
Good for him.
Yeah.
For me, it was probably what was the freaking Flight of the Navigator? I think was
the one with the geese. That like they're flying the geese somewhere. Is that the movie?
I think there was. No, I don't think that's the same one, Matt.
Zoom in on my face right now.
What's Flight of the? I've never even heard of that.
You've never heard of Flight of the Navigator?
It's like an 80s movie.
Jesus.
I know.
Wait.
Oh yeah, no,
actually, Xena showed this to me recently. This is how well I remember this movie. Xena showed this to me about a year ago, I think, and we were like trying to decide if Riggs can watch it. It's actually a pretty good movie. I don't remember it.
I remember it having like some little creepy bits creeping me out a little bit too.
It's funny watching these old movies
it's
and
just
how creepy
like
they are.
When
you're little,
yellow means go really, really fast. Okay, look, there's no geese involved. I know what movie you're talking about, and it was a good movie. It's a heartbreaking, real soul toucher movie. Nothing to do with the geese in this one.
That's why it's even funnier. That's what I was thinking about.
It is.
You're like that movie terrified me. Geese.
Am
I right?
I mean,
geese.
Well, dude, Canadian.
We have two ETs in here, by the way, and I do remember because Bookstore Thor said it, and your wife said it actually, Matt, as well.
Yep.
ET spooked them, and I remember being a little creeped out about it for a while too.
Crisco, sorry. Fly Away Home.
Fly Away Home.
That was the movie you're thinking of.
I
don't know that I ever saw that.
I remember my
I did.
sisters watching that and I thought it was stupid.
It's an ultralight. I just wanted to fly an
that one.
ultralight.
Holy crap! I do remember that.
Where you're leading geese in an ultralight.
You bought an ultralight. You seem like
Brother?
someone that would buy an ultralight.
Next step. Look,
the sky.
I was about to say mid 30s,
Yeah.
late 30s crisis.
Yep.
It's coming.
All right.
Yeah, ultralight. I'm gonna be buzzing around in a little flying.
Well, I've heard your brother has I've heard your brother has some problems with some people flying over his property, and that maybe like
Wait, did
you should
he
buy that?
Wait,
Bro, I got
how much
sources.
did he tell
I
you?
got sources. I happen to
Yeah,
be
but
there
I mean,
while you're
how much
discussing
did he
it.
tell you?
I happen to be there while
Did
you're
he
discussing.
tell you
I'm not
the
gonna say it.
felony?
Yes, that's why I'm not talking about that part.
Hmm.
Wow, Chris is over here just blasting out facts.
on the YouTube.
I didn't say who or what it is. I just said that it was a felony. But he told you. Of course, was he drinking wine?
No, we were working.
Was he drinking wine?
Oh, my brother-in-law. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the snitch told you about my brother. I gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
I'll have a talk with him. Yeah. Some kneecaps will.
Yeah.
It was all for
Disgusting.
good fun.
And yet, Chris is the one that
Right.
that let it out on
Nobody
the
knows
so,
what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, but also we got a tenor from freaking Jake says we need to watch Flight of the Navigator, you absolute heathens.
Hell
So,
yes.
I mean,
This
I'd be game for
motherfucker
rewatch
thinks
it.
it's about geese. So yes, we need to watch it.
The best part is
So
though,
good.
and my wife said this in the comments. I have seen this, and we watched it like 6 months ago, and I just totally forgot about it.
Just 6 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, because Zena was like, "Oh, I love this movie," and I was like, "I've never seen this movie before," because I didn't grow up watching a lot of '80s movies.
Right.
Maybe like Short Circuit or something like
Yeah,
that. I was more
Short
like
Circuit's good.
'90s animated cartoons was more
Right.
my like bag of things.
Okay.
But I was like, it's a good movie, but I totally forgot about it. I couldn't even
Wow.
tell you what it's about. Something about like a spaceship or something.
What do you know
Flying
about
in
Don
space.
Knotts?
Oh God, he's gonna talk about the ghost of Mr. Chicken. This is
All right, I'll tell you about what I grew up on. It's a bunch of Don Knotts.
I knew that's
Tim
where it was.
Conway.
I knew that's where it was going. And you're probably gonna make Bookstore Thor if he's still in here.
I'll make him come.
Yeah,
boy.
He
I
loves.
got more than one way.
Yep. He like we said, he's completely straight. So yes,
It's facts.
I think we need to go ahead and get on into.
Yeah, it's been like 2 hours.
Yes, no, we're right at it
Let's
now.
do
So,
it.
yeah.
Into spoiler.
Let's go ahead and get into what everybody has been waiting for, which is to know if they should see Clown in a Cornfield. Matt, so go ahead and roll. All right, so today we're talking about Clown in a Cornfield.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier on in the show, I mentioned that this is the new film by Eli Craig, the guy who did Tucker and Dale, which many people love a whole lot. And
Love.
honestly, I don't know that he's done much of anything.
I was thinking
since
about
then.
that.
He really hasn't. Nothing big, at least. And so this really had piqued my interest when I saw that he was making a new movie. I saw that it was going to have some comedy elements in there, which he did with Tucker and Dale, which was
Mhm.
also horror. The funny thing is, this is being billed as a thriller mystery horror, is what they are billing this movie as, and it's about a clown in a cornfield. There will definitely be some spoilers that we cannot touch on and kind of need to stay away from and be careful of, I guess, with how the plot is of this. There are spoilers out there as well. When I was looking for pictures for the thumbnail, I actually saw one. I was hoping that it wasn't a spoiler, forgot about it, and then when it happened in the movie, I was like, definitely a spoiler. So I won't go into what that was right now, but maybe later. But this is another, murderous clown movie, and it doesn't star too many people that you'll recognize outside of Kevin Durant, who initially became kind of who's just a guy that I've seen around a lot. I don't even know exactly. It's the dad in this movie. I don't know what I know him from, but I've seen him many
Scott Bakula Jr.
Right.
He looks like Scott Bakula.
He really does look like Scott Bakula.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that kind of shows up in a small role in everything.
Right.
he's
That's
just-
that's this cast.
Yes.
The older cast.
The
The,
older
younger
cast, for
cast
sure.
are up and comers.
Yeah.
But like the older cast were all people I was like, I think I've seen you, like the sheriff.
Yeah.
I've seen the sheriff somewhere.
100%.
And he was a bumbling
I
redneck
think he was,
idiot. I can't remember.
He's
So-
the su-
He's in
supporting.
Dale and Tucker.
Well, is he?
I think
I'm pretty
he's
sure he was
Dale.
in. No, that's not that guy.
Or Tucker.
No, he's not. That's not that guy. He kind of looks like him. I'm
Rod-
pretty sure that this guy was in
racist.
Entourage.
Oh, you're right.
I know, thinking all white
That's
people look the
toxic.
same.
Jeez,
Very
all rednecks
racist.
are the same. How dare
Oh
you?
my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, I have seen him in a bunch of stuff. He's been around forever. He's just one of those guys that also this movie has a lot of those guys that kind of show up in everything. As far as the adult actors go. But anyways, so yes, this is a new horror film. It's an indie. I would consider it. I did unfortunately miss the first couple minutes.
You guys both missed about the same, and you didn't miss really anything.
Right. It was an interlude.
Yeah, kind of an interlude.
It was like it showed something happened in 1991, and this movie takes place current time.
Yeah.
So that's the only real thing that like was missed. It was like in 91,
which does add a little context to things that happen.
But it was literally like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a snippet of like the party. Like I said, there's no spoilers of the party, just that we didn't see. I thought it was like just pure cornfield of the party.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I expected that was. But you're saying it's from 91.
Yeah, that was the first thing. It was like 1991.
Okay, we can't say much about that because it leads into spoilers. But so also, I'm hearing we're having lag. Hopefully, it stopped. We are in a storm right now, so like we were saying, there is a good chance that we could end up with some stuff not coming through great on y'all's end. So sorry about that if it does happen. But so anyways, on to the movie and kind of what we think. I don't know. We said earlier at the start of the show that none of us really knew anything about this movie outside of there being a crowd in a cornfield. So this film stars, or it follows a father and a daughter who move to a new town out in BFE, out in these parts. That is bumfuck Egypt. So they move out to BFE and basically in cornland growing territory. And it's it's a town known for having corn syrup and a corn syrup factory. And there's murderous clown at some point. That's really we can go on from there. I'm trying to be careful about
broad
very broad thing. So yes, as we all know, scary clowns are all the rage these days between the Terrifier series and obviously I think is pretty much who kicked that off, and there are others out there as well.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yep, exactly. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I mean, it's a trope for sure. So this movie, what it's going for, I think, is at least early on in different things, is this is clearly trying to capture more of that old school 90s 2000s slasher horror that we used to get more of. It is trying to get those vibes and that feel to it. We don't get a lot of movies quite like this. It seems to be these days you either have a really kind of soft PG-13 like teen horror movie like that terror movie we watched, which was freaking terrible,
lame.
You get something lame, or you get something like freaking Terrifier that's like a gore fest slasher, whatever, that like a lot of people aren't going to like. It used to be back in especially the 90s and 2000s, you got more of these middle of the road like teen slashers, like your I Know What You Did Last Summer, your Scream movies, all of those were a lot more commonplace. This feels like it's trying to capture some of that. And so just to kind of set you up and let you know what you're getting into. But I guess we need to let you guys know what we think about it and if we think it is worth you checking out. So Matt is our horror expert. So we kind of are, yes. We're in kind of tiers where there's like Matt, who watches a whole lot of horror, is kind of the expert. I like horror, but I'm picky about it. Like it's got to be, I have my lanes that I like to stick in with horror. And Chris doesn't watch them unless we make him.
Facts.
But you have watched many over the years, and quite often you end up liking quite a bit of them. I say it depends on the type, because you're like me. You have the types that you like.
Yes. And I have a weird scale for what is actual horror. Because some people will say it's horror, and I'm like, nah, it's just like a scary movie. But like actual horror, horror
has to have hers.
It's got to be horror-y.
It's got to be hers.
So, yeah. But Matt, continue.
Sure.
So what do you think, Matt, as the horror expertise?
This movie's all right. I think it's like a decent, somewhere in the decent range.
Right.
I don't think it's one of those movies that can be swayed up with it. I don't think you can like convince me it's rad.
Like firmly in that decent territory.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a bogus per se. There's plenty of things I enjoyed about this movie that I wouldn't go I don't think to a bogus range. So I think I'm pretty firm in my decent range.
Right.
There are some cool kills in the movie, but there are also some that were just lackluster.
Right.
And some of the characters were, I don't know, not that interesting. So I don't know. There's things I liked and didn't like about this movie.
So as far as do you classify this as a horror, a scary movie, none of the above?
Yes, it's a horror movie. It's a slasher. I'm looking at Chris because Chris is probably gonna be like, "This isn't a horror movie at all."
You said one word that was true. It's a slasher.
And slashers are considered horror movies. They are
wrong. Nope. I will fight.
You will fight
a man.
You want, but you're wrong.
I'm gonna burn down some buildings. I might bomb.
This one, but you can burn down other buildings.
In Minecraft. All of these things are going to happen in Minecraft.
Sure. Yeah. And I've got TNT in Minecraft with a creeper, I guess. Sure.
But this is a horror movie.
I'll blow up your house.
in Minecraft. You can do a recreation. I'd be very impressed.
Chris is trying to see if he can get this stream taken down. He's desperately trying. So
yeah. Okay. So I respect your opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I know you don't. I don't think we've seen a single movie that you would classify as a horror movie.
I don't either.
To be honest, every time we have
this
discussion,
he never
he's
said
never been like this. Every time it's
we need to like take it.
It terrified the shit out of me, but it's not horror.
Right. Chris like, I didn't shit my pants, so it's not horror.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I'm trying to think. I think there was one. I'll have to think about it. I'll come back to you on that one.
Okay, you can look at our catalog over on Spotify.
I think there was one where I was like, all right, this is horror. But
and Pickle Lips makes a good point here, and he says slasher movies are usually for a laugh anymore, fun, but usually not scary.
True.
And I think that is also where Chris is coming from.
Right.
Probably.
All I said about that it wasn't horror. That's all. Yeah.
But I still think like slashers mostly fall into a horror, maybe a comedy horror, but it's still a horror element to it. When you have all the blood and deaths and things like that, to me, makes it a horror movie.
Right.
Not necessarily a thriller or. Right. I don't know what the other genre. Do you find
this movie scary?
No. But I don't think most horror movies are scary to me. Like there's very few movies that I'm like, I am unsettled or like scared.
Like when I think about like ones that jump out, I think about like the first time I saw the first Insidious film.
Sure.
Like there are certain movies
Sinister,
like Sinister,
that's a great horror movie.
There's some like that like
those are great adjectives as well.
Right. Honestly. They are.
Yeah.
And typically for me, like we were talking about in the chat, the slasher movies, a lot of the creature features, those don't tend to be scary. It's more just like, this is cool suspense. Right. Like, this has got the spooks and it's got the murdery stuff, but like I'm not scared. I'm not like gonna be worried about this thing, getting me in the middle of the night. And so, which is also like how I felt about like the Alien movies as well. Never found them even remotely scary. I'm like, these are thrillers, maybe. Yeah. But I kept a lot of crap for not being a huge fan of the Alien series. But
it's the first one.
The first one
you were both on that same note.
For sure. Yeah. So but all right. So Matt, you're a decent, pretty firmly.
And this is a slasher horror with comedic elements to it. Okay. That isn't scary. Now, if you're 18 and it's the first time you've seen a slasher, you might find this scary.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. And so I'm there with you on that. I don't know if that's what you were about to say, Chris, but this does, I don't want to be like borderline offensive by saying this, but it works well as like a baby's first R-rated horror movie. Like you know what I mean? Like you're like a teenager, your parents let you go and you're like, I'll buy you a ticket for an R-rated movie to see with your friends.
Is it R?
Yeah, it's definitely R.
Yeah, all the
blood, there's enough
gore because it is pretty gory. This movie is quite gory, similar to Tucker and Dale. Like there's a lot of over the top gore. Now, I think that there were several points when it pulled its punches, and I could tell that Matt felt the same.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to call out, but there were several kills where I was like, bro, come on, you could have showed that. That would have been way cooler if you showed it.
Yeah.
There's several of those.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely that. Sounds like Chris agrees as well. There's definitely pulled punches in this movie that kind of suck that they did that. It is definitely an R-rated movie, but I think that this works well for one of those movies. If you're a teen or you're a parent and your kid's like 15, 16, and you're like, I'll buy you a ticket for an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
It's not full of a bunch of like gratuitous sexual stuff or anything like that. Like it's not over the top even with language or anything. It's mostly just the gore.
Yeah, I think gory deaths are the reason this is an R-rated movie.
And I am right there with you, Matt. This is decent. It's fine. It's a fine watch. I wouldn't be like you need to go see it in theaters. I wouldn't say that probably like to many people, except for, like I said, maybe like some teenagers who are wanting to see something. Like it did. There were parts. It never fully went there is the problem. For those type of movies that push it to the next level, where I think about things like back in the 2000s, we were talking about good movies like House of Wax. Back when that movie came out, like think about those types of movies. These like really edge of your seat, freaky teen horror movies, teen slashers. This is not in that realm. And then there is a point in which this movie fully leans to the comedy, like almost fully, which is very Tucker and Dale.
Yep.
And you will laugh more.
Which, if they had done that more earlier on, if there had been more of that, I think I would have liked this movie more.
Right.
There was a tonal shift.
There was.
You were talking about.
It's a pretty hard.
And it was like kind of going with the. Well, I'm not gonna try. I'm not spoiling. I'll talk about it later. But it went from like a serious movie, and then it kind of switches over to be more like comedic. And then I was like, oh, this is because I like Dale and Tucker. Like I think that's a funny movie. It's a cool twist on a horror genre like movie.
It's people that don't know that they're the horror monsters.
Right.
They don't know that they're the slasher guys.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Great concept.
Exactly. The concept of that was fantastic.
I think that what even keeps this indecent mostly, like, because there's a lot about this movie that's not a good movie. There's a lot of messy stuff. There's some really bad writing. This is going to really piss some boomers off. This movie is... We don't want to use the W word because we were talking crap earlier.
Woke.
But there is some woke adjacent storyline for sure.
I don't even know what woke is anymore.
I don't know what knows what it is.
Well, it's like I don't know if that's woke even anymore.
I don't even know
if that's just what the kids are doing. I don't know.
Right.
It's just generational angst.
Yeah.
Which has been perpetual for all of time.
Right.
Like there's fucking tablets from the 1200s where it's like, we don't like this because the next generation likes.
Which is why I wouldn't call this
so
this
stupid.
woke, because what makes the woke stuff bristle you is it you hear a bunch of grown ass people saying stuff that it sounds like a bunch of kids would say. And like that's always kind of been like angsty things to me that are lacking in logic.
Okay.
That's a lot of people's issue with a lot of the woke stuff. This is very much leaning into that angsty teen stuff, but it's going to, by a lot of people that see it, be called woke, which is why I wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I will say it plays the line well. Like it does it on both sides. So like it panders to both sides.
It does
to a certain degree, maybe not perfectly, but there's times where it's like where you can see boomers being like, well, yeah, I agree with this, and then you can see it where it's like, Gen Z being like, yeah, this is why we do it.
Right.
But I think overall, it's a misinterpretation of what most people feel in general. Like, I feel like that's a real stereotype that I think Hollywood has embraced just based off of it reminds me of what's the fucking place that has an animatronic rat?
Oh,
Disneyland.
Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese. Okay, so like Chuck E. Cheese has been, I feel like, the forefront of pandering to things that weren't relevant to that generation.
Right.
Because I remember growing up and feeling so cringy anytime I saw anything to do with Chuck E. Cheese. Because it was like 90s kids, bleach blonde hair, parted in the middle. And they were like, dude, I like to scat inline.
Right.
And it was just like nobody relates with that.
Right.
At all. And it feels similar to that in this movie. Maybe not to that extreme.
And that's the interesting thing with this movie.
No, go ahead.
Totally interrupt. But there is a thing where I kept going back and forth, and I'm like, this movie is it is self-aware. Like it is very self-aware, but then it would do things where I'm like, this feels very not self-aware.
Yeah.
I feel like you're almost too self-aware to where we've looped back around to becoming cringy.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's because like this movie is tropish as shit.
And
Like
it's trying to be satirical at some points.
Right.
But not enough points.
No, not enough. And it gets better in the second half. And I'll say like, and I guess tropish is the term that got created within Criticless, and we use it a lot more now. I actually think that Terrapin is the one that kind of created it. But yeah, I like the term because it is. This movie is full of tropes, but very intentionally so. Like this movie, like very early on, is like, here's the cool dude, here's the jock, here's the dumb hoe, here's the like, you know, and it just like goes through and it's just checking out the boxes. Here's the obnoxious cop that's the sheriff of the town. Like check. And this movie just does it for like the first 45 minutes. That's what it is.
I would argue that it's the entire movie.
Yeah, good point.
It's okay. So to get to the point, because I've belabored this a lot, but I did not like it. I would give this a sub 30. It is not entertaining in any way for me. It didn't bring anything new. It didn't wow me. It didn't scare me. There was nothing about this that I enjoyed. It was the most meh of movies. I will forget it in a week. It's my standard of forgettableness. I will forget this very shortly. I mean, my memory is bad, but this is
so you forget it regardless. But this is even faster.
It was a nothing burger, with extra pickle. Nothing about it was entertaining.
I would not judge anyone for saying that, and even me with saying the decent. Like with me saying decent, it is like I don't even know that it's a decent. This is more of like the lowest of decent's upper bogus. Like honestly, I have this thing where like, with our scale where we have our heinous, which is like the red, and then we have bogus, which is green, decent, which is blue. So like for me, it's like when I know that it's getting into heinous, it's like when I'm mad that I'm watching it. This movie never hit that.
That's fair. And same.
Like I was never mad that I was there. But like there were many of times where I was just like, this is cheesy as shit, and like not.
I wasn't actively wanting to murder anyone during this. Or if you want to tone it down a little bit, I guess, but murder, I won't murder anybody over this, but it's also not enjoyable. Like I will never watch this again. I won't recommend it. I won't remember it. There was nothing about this that was original or new. It was a trope off of 90s horror films, and they were trying to pander to
the modern current generation.
30 plus people. And it just didn't hit for me. I did not enjoy it whatsoever.
And I don't blame you. And I think there's going to be a lot of people in that camp. There's a lot that is, can pretty comfortably say is bad about this. I had a lot more fun in the second half, but then like it kept doing little things here and there that would just like, I just felt it like getting dinged. I'm just like, no, don't do that. That's cheesy as shit. Or that's just like, and people would say or do things, and I'm like, I don't know if this is self-aware, but I also don't care. Like I just like there was a lot of that. And when we talk about like the thing that keeps this movie okay is the plot and the kind of twists that it takes, but also it flip-flops. Back and forth from wildly predictable to like
this is interesting because the entirety of it was 100% predictable. I knew it was I don't want to spoil. No spoilers. I knew exactly who everybody was in all of it. I predicted, I should say, not new, but I predicted everything.
I predicted very early.
What was the surprising part?
I don't really even mean things with the story or the twist that the story takes. That was all predictable. It was just like sometimes they would like you'd get like a surprising kill that I was like, oh, they did that quicker than I expected, or like there would be. I don't even know. Like you said, there's a lot that's kind of forgettable about this movie as well. Like I'm already kind of forgetting things that happened.
That's fair.
Not even joking.
Not to put you off the spot. So I understand.
I mean, that's not a bad point. Like
there are. I think for me, what I was surprised by were the random comedic moments.
For
me, that was because like
agreed.
Who the killer is and things like that. It was the random quips.
All right.
That would pop in that I wasn't expecting at all. Because most of the time when a horror movie gets rolling into the thick of the gore and all that, it's not funny anymore. It's serious, running through the woods, cornfields, all that jazz. This movie continuously was like, well, actually, here's a little funny moment. And for me,
when you think that a horror hook is coming, and they would pivot and do that also like regularly. And I agree, some of that stuff worked for me, but it didn't like save the movie, but it made it better.
Well, and that's why if they'd done it the whole movie, like I said earlier, like I think it would have made this movie better because it would have been more of like a going in, because I think about like Hot Fuzz, which I compare a lot of this movie to that in my
100%.
mind. Hot Fuzz did it way
Yep.
better,
Mhm.
but there are elements to both of these movies that are very similar.
Yeah.
And obviously, Hot Fuzz did it better. That's like a perfect movie.
Ugh.
So comparing it to it's hard.
Yeah.
Don't shake your head like that.
I'm not a huge Hot Fuzz fan. Though.
I mean, look, it's
They're
very
cracking.
good. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's way better than this
That
movie.
it is a
100%.
perfect movie.
Mm.
Yeah, not perfect.
It's like one of the few hundreds I give out.
There's very few. Wait, you would give that 100?
There is nothing wrong with that movie
Oh my!
at all.
Yeah, that's not a hundo for me.
This is so revolutionary for me. Like,
How?
because you and like comedy, like
Right.
humor in
It's
general.
Wright
It's
is,
British humor.
Edgar Wright is the best director.
Okay.
I think
All right.
almost every.
Look,
I
I'm just
can't think of
shook.
a single movie
all.
that I'm like I hate or dislike.
Okay.
of his.
There's like
Alright.
one movie I'm not so hot on. It's Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, it's
But I think if I rewatched it, I would
Yeah.
like it more.
No,
But I love
it's something.
every other one of
Like
those
it.
movies. So
I mean, Last Night in Soho was very different from all his other movies, like
Right.
wildly different.
Wait. Oh, I'm thinking of Hollywood, Brad Pitt.
Oh, not that. No, you're
What-
talking about
I think Guy Ritchie, Ocean's 11. What are you talking
No,
about?
no, no.
I just thought of the name of it.
Uh,
We'll think of it in a bit. But yeah, no.
yeah,
Last
it
Night in
doesn't
Soho
matter.
is the one with it's like a. I don't
It's
even know
kind
how
of
to
like
describe
time
it. It's such a-
travel-y and
Yeah, it's such a
I don't know how to
strange
describe
movie.
it. It's very
might not have
strange.
It's very
seen that.
weird.
We reviewed it.
You might not.
You did.
I don't know. I don't think he was there. It was a long time ago.
I mean,
Anyways, he wouldn't remember anyway.
All right.
exactly.
So-
I don't remember.
But yeah, so this movie, there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to like this, I think. But I think that there is probably an audience to be found in the younger crowd.
Yeah.
But we're not the target demographic. I
Mhm.
thought that maybe we could be. I think that I could go back to something like House of Wax or one of those
Mhm.
like slashery, very horror-y movies
Yeah.
from that time period that were teen movies and like it. This
Mhm.
doesn't compare to those.
Oh yeah, I watched House of Wax a couple years ago, but I remember being like, this movie holds up.
Yeah,
like
it's
this
scary.
movie is still nice and creepy and like has good
Right.
scary elements to it. So like that is a really well done movie.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so and it's funny because Jared, which is Terrapin Reviews within Criticless, he called it and he was like, all of y'all are going to be sub 50. And he's not wrong, apparently.
Yeah, no,
So,
I literally said I'm gonna be sub 30 for
yeah,
me.
Yeah. And I'll definitely be, I think, in the bogus. I just don't know exactly where.
Yeah.
So, you'll be right in that vicinity. as
Yep,
well.
yep.
So yeah, I think, most of you guys, I would say not to jump out and see this. We will get into spoilers. You can hang around and listen to those. There is some things that you might find surprising about the spoilers, but
Sure.
there's that. So
You won't.
This movie's very, this movie's very kind of basic, nothing
Predictable.
revolutionary. It's
Predictable.
very predictable. It's a real bummer that this was Eli Craig's like next outing after Tucker being so loved. But
Well, that's the thing is Tucker was like a cult loving, I think. I don't
Right.
think it was like
Sure.
well received.
Yep.
I don't know scores or
Right.
anything like that. And I'm honestly wondering if he just caught lightning in the bottle and that's why he didn't direct anything else.
right.
Because he was like, well, I'm actually, this is actually a lot of work and I'm not really good at it or something like that.
Probably.
And then
Who knows?
decided not to. Because honestly, the movie on its own is like okay, but what makes it really good is how creative it is.
Right.
So it's like the
You talking
creative
about
element.
Tucker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's got actually high Rotten Tomatoes by audience and critics.
Huh.
And then
Because it's a great film.
yeah, I mean it is. Every time I bring it up, people really kind of gush about it. On Criticless, it is also a 96. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I was curious
That
if it
checks
was
out.
I was kind of hoping it was criticated. That's why I checked Rotten Tomatoes first. If
Right.
it was, I was like, maybe we'll do that in 2 weeks. Like
Hell
that
yeah.
would be fun.
I'll
Right.
watch that again.
Yeah, it is not critically panned. It is not streaming many places either.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know what are even these sites. I don't even know. It's on
There's
some
so
weird
many
sites that I've
random
never
ones
heard of.
now.
Alan Tudyk. That's
Yep,
all you
yeah.
got now.
Yep,
Right.
Alan
Great.
Tudyk is in it. Yep, and Tyler LeBain, who both of those guys are very funny. But anyways, Matt, you want to go ahead and run the spoiler stinger?
Get
Let's go ahead and
into
get into those.
Stinger.
But yeah, so there's a bunch of clowns.
What?
There's the spoilers.
Clowns.
Yeah, and that was a spoiler that I saw online. It's
Hmm.
not that it's a clown in a cornfield; it's a bunch of clowns in a cornfield. So
Was that in the title? Is it clowns?
no,
in a
it's
cornfield?
no. That's what I'm saying. It is clown in a
Oh.
cornfield, but this is
Oh.
clowns in a cornfield.
They lied to us.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did lie. So that's kind of the hook, but also like it wasn't surprising at all.
I wasn't surprised, but there was also this weird thing where they tried to make it seem like it was like
a bunch of different people.
Well, no, yeah, I guess I thought they were trying to make it where it was like mystical.
Oh,
because like you have
I
like
never
Jason
I
Voorhees and like
I
Mike
wish it
Myers
was
and all that, which
Yeah.
like they just kind of show up places. And in this movie, for particular, there's a scene where the first kid that dies, the black kid, who of course died first. Talk about
Of
being
course.
tropish.
Yep.
right. Yeah.
right
Well, that was
there.
clearly intentional, though. Like,
Yeah.
and they even joke about it later because there's another black girl, and she's like, "Oh no, now I'm up."
Yeah,
Like,
I'm next.
Which was actually
Right.
funny. That was a funny bit.
Yeah,
Like
I did laugh.
there were several parts, and you laughed several times in it. Like,
Right.
it, you know, it
I
was,
don't know if he did. I was sitting next to him.
It
Yeah, I
was
don't- I
that
heard him laugh
one
a couple times.
time.
I know he laughed that one time.
Haha.
He
I
did.
chuckled a
Yeah.
little bit.
We were laughing more at what was going on in our theater because it was people
Wait,
out
hold on.
of
Hold on.
pocket.
Let me finish my thought.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
But so when that guy died, like he like is going around the house, and there's no way he randomly passed this person. So they must have had like 4 or 5 people in the house pretending to be the clown. Because remember, it was like somebody knocked on the door,
Right.
then that person somehow gets in his house into the bathroom, but then passed him up the steps into his room, which he goes into his
I
room.
think they were just a little bit ahead of him.
The house
seemed
isn't
like-
that
Yeah.
big, and their shoes squeak. So
Well, then I don't think all their shoes squeaked either. It was only some of the
Which
shoes
was
squeaked.
a big
Yeah.
like detriment
Yeah.
to the whole theme.
but
they
it's
should all
supposed
have
to be
squeaky
creepy.
shoes.
Right.
And so I don't know.
And
To me, I
squeaky
was like,
shoes are creepy.
Right. Well,
Right. I
None of
was
them
just
were
on that.
creepy though. Like none of the clowns were
None.
creepy to me. At all.
Nothing.
no, clowns aren't that creepy, except that
Well-
this kind of did happen with those like clown sightings in South Carolina. Do you guys remember that a couple
Yeah.
years
That was
ago?
like
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That was
It wasn't
yeah.
that long ago.
No,
it was
yeah,
like
it was.
15 or 16. 2015 or 2016?
Oh, you thought it was longer ago? Yeah, no,
No,
you
less.
might
You
be
said
right.
2012.
No, I said 2020.
Oh, no, yeah, 2020. I heard you say 2012.
Mm.
Whatever. But yeah, so I mean, they're creepy to a degree, but like not enough to be like, we're gonna make a whole
It was
movie
actually
about
2016.
Which
Boom,
is
what
the
you wanna
year.
say? So good.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
That's
But
all
yeah.
I needed for. But anyways, what I thought they were going for, anyways, was that this was like a ghost kind of
Right.
like
That would have been
creepy thing, kind of
An
like
actual-
it, where like
right.
it's an actual like
Creature.
entity or being or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And when they all came out of the field, I was like, oh, okay. That's when I was like, oh, this is just like Hot Fuzz.
Yeah,
Or this is just
it's
basically like
it's
the same
100%
concept.
hot fuzz.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the whole hook here is that basically there's a group of the teens in town that suck. They are YouTubers, and all teens in every town suck. Teens suck. They're annoying. They're obnoxious. We were terrible, obnoxious teens. Absolutely.
That's why I hire them.
Yeah.
Because they suck so good.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are they're the worst, and everybody in town hates them. And basically they decide that they're going to kill the obnoxious YouTuber kids.
Yeah.
And they're just sick of their ways, and apparently this town has been eradicating all of the obnoxious people in town for every decade, basically.
100 years.
Yeah, like 100 years. And so they just regularly will wipe out. It was like the stoners or whatever in the 90s, the hippies.
1960s,
Hobos.
Yeah, the
hobos
were the
in the
first ones.
40s. Yeah.
So and basically they were extra mad. What really kicked it off and made them look like the bad eggs was because they got blamed for the corn syrup factory burning down.
Mhm.
And so basically the whole town, well, a large portion of the town, because there is a bunch of clowns, a large portion of the town turned against the kids and decided they were going to kill them. And so it's the kids running from, the local sheriff,
Yeah.
But
It's the Zoomers versus the Boomers.
Yeah,
That's
It
what
is, and that's literally what they even talk about. They're like, this generation is the worst
Yeah.
generation, and that's
You're
where I was
worse
like rolling
than
my eyes. I was
hippies.
like,
it got
okay,
so on the nose. Like
it did.
Yeah.
to the point in which like they're like, oh, we're gonna trick you, and the hot dude is gay for the country bumpkin, like, and just like little things like that. And it's just like eye roll, like
like that had zero impact on anything in the movie. Like that was not a wow. Like I feel like this was built for boomers to like stereotype
Mhm.
people even more into this, as the genre this movie is, because like nobody in our generation cares.
Mhm.
Like you have that surprise, quote unquote, of like, oh, this dude is gay. Like I don't give a shit. Like,
Right,
okay,
don't
cool.
care.
Like that's
Right.
not a surprise at all. But like I feel like it's pandering to the boomers to some point, but it's also like no boomer's gonna watch this movie.
Right.
No boomer is gonna care about this,
and they're probably gonna hate a lot of the other stuff in it too. So it's
it's
just
why? Like, who cares? It feels very like self-satisfied.
It was kind of pandering to Gen Z too, though.
So that's my thing. Like, I think this played both sides of the coin. So if anybody was watching it, they'd be like, I didn't like this part, but I like that part.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. So like with the popular boy being the gay boy at the end of the movie, I think that was all super on purpose. Not to be like, oh, we're just pandering. I think it was to make fun of it.
Oh, you feel like fun of it?
Yes.
Really?
I do. I think it was to make fun of it. Just to be like, oh yeah, and by the way, he's the gay kid.
Right.
Boom. In your face. Because it was so in the face. They made out like right there in front of the chick. And then she was like, well, this has been the most
they played it as a
weird
joke.
night of my life.
Yeah, they played it kind of as a joke for sure, but I don't think it was a joke. It was definitely not a joke at Gen Z. It was a joke with Gen Z.
Well, no, that's what I mean. I think it's something that they're gonna laugh at and they'll be like, yeah, because I think a lot of them are being like, why is all these characters gay? I mean, maybe this is just us and being millennials, but like they do that in every movie or show aimed at that generation. They're like, we have to have at least like 3 gay characters and X amount of colored people and stuff like that. Like, and I think that's what they're making fun of.
There is some of that for sure.
Right.
But that's the thing. I just don't think that this movie quite knows what it's doing. It's kind of just a scattershot.
It doesn't.
I don't know who it's targeting.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Like, and that's a very fair point. Like, I think that it does. It comes back to like really not a big deal. Is kind of the scope of the thing. It's just like, yeah, we have a gay character. Like, okay, cool. Whatever. Like, yeah, they exist. Like, they're humans. Like, nobody. It's not a big deal. You don't have to put a focus on it. Which is, I think, was what
of the film.
Right. Which I think was what you were saying is like. You don't have to make it the priority or the agenda is what everybody likes to say really about things. Of like, no, it wasn't.
So that, I mean, this movie didn't. It's literally like we're talking about like a 2-minute scene towards the end of the movie.
Exactly.
So it's not like it was just one of those things where I called it seconds before it happened. I think. I don't know if you heard me.
Yeah.
But I was just like,
Matt was
and
like,
now they kiss.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like the country bumpkin runs in and like kisses him. And he's like, yeah, we're lovers.
Yeah.
And I was like, got it.
Yeah, exactly.
I called several things in this movie because it was so predictable.
It's so predictable. At every turn. It's one of the most predictable films I think I've seen. Like, it's just the only thing that saves it a tiny bit is just that once the kills actually started happening and they stopped not showing them on screen, like someone gets their head chopped off, not going to show it, just falls in an ice bucket, whatever, or, they get slashed across the wrist, or the neck, you don't see the slash. Like, there was a bunch of that early on.
Yeah.
But then it was like, oh, a person gets impaled, a person, whatever. Like, and they started finally showing things. I'm like, about time. Like, why did I wait this long? Like, what are we doing?
And that did definitely hurt the movie. They should have leaned into it more. There should have been a little more blood, and like, because that draws you into these kind of movies. When you see bloody murders, especially early on, like who else is gonna get brutally murdered? And we like in the beginning scene that what you guys were hinting at earlier that you guys missed was in 1991, they were smoking weed and drinking at the barn, just doing kid things, right?
Devil's
lettuce, indeed. And they're going off into the to have sex in the cornfield. Well, they both get killed, but you don't really see it.
Right.
I think you literally walked in and you saw like one person being held up, or Chris walked in on it because you guys are both late. But
they started making the movie start earlier.
I know.
Literally like 15 to 20 minutes earlier.
It depends on the popularity.
15 minutes after its start time.
Right. Which is, it used to be 30 minutes. Like, solid.
Well, it depends on the popularity.
I'm starting earlier. It does depend on the popularity.
If it's a more popular movie, they're going to have more trailers.
That is true.
It'll start later.
Yeah. But yeah, and I pulled it up a minute ago, but Pickle Lips McGill said sanitized violence makes your movie boring. And I agree. I agree. Especially if you're a horror movie and you're rated R. Like, do not pull your punches.
Especially early on. Give us the blood.
Right.
Like when the black guy dies.
Yeah.
It's literally a quick and he falls over and you barely see any blood. You see him like rough, but it should have been like a slash and maybe at least splatter across the wall or something like that.
And you see the slash. It's not like an off-screen slash and then he goes down. Like, that's just lame. Like, there's a lot of that. And I was worried. I thought that it was going to happen through the whole movie. And I was like, oh, this is really going to like suck.
Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't. Yeah.
I still think the comedic element saved this.
Sub-30s for me.
Right. But I still think the comedics, that's what, like the main chick, I don't know her name. I can't remember her character's name.
Yeah.
But the brunette, the new girl in town.
Something very
Quinn.
cute.
Quinn.
Yep.
Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's in Red Rising. Quinn from the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, R.I.P. But anyways,
I don't know how old she is.
but
She's
Glad y'all said it.
Yep. Yeah, she was born in 1998, so 10 years younger than us. So yeah, she's
in her she's in her mid 20s.
Well into her 20s.
Great. She looks
a
she's
lot
very
younger.
cute.
She looks way younger than she is.
She's 27.
Tiny. Did you see her in that Jeep?
Itty
The steering wheel was like she was in the car like a clown car. She's so tiny.
When she hugged the other two guys at the end of the movie, and they're like the shorter guy's a head taller, and then the other dude's like 2 heads taller. I was like, oh man, she's short. But she really carries this movie in my mind.
She does.
Because she was the
I didn't love her
best
acting
of it.
She was
a funny
I don't
character.
blame her at all. It's totally the writing. The writing is just subpar pandering, but I think she did it well.
And like her jokes were mostly executed well. Like there was maybe 1 or 2 where I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah. But then again, I think I'm bad with comedy. Most comedies, I'm like, okay, that wasn't funny. Yeah. I guess. But
I think it was just with all the tropes and stuff. It's like, as they start dying, a lot of people don't get a whole lot of time to shine. Like the black kid dying first, and like we didn't get a ton of him.
Tropes, which I feel like they leaned into the tropes. Like they wanted it to be. They wanted it to be like they called it out so many times. Like throughout the movie where they were like, oh, this is the 80s, this is the 90s. They were calling out genres or decades, whatever you want to call it.
In a good way, really. Like, it's just, there
are
better ways to do it where you either wear it more on your sleeve so that it's like you're questioning. Like this was one of those things where you're regularly questioning if it's intentional or not.
Right.
You're like, maybe.
It was super fourth wall breaking. Like everything about it was just like in your face. This is your genre. Like the 80s were, the 40s were the same distance apart from the 80s as it was
like
from
one of the
now.
early lines in the movie.
It's like one of the first things she brings up, and it's totally true. I love the 80s. I was born in the 80s, but
and really that is the whole thing. This movie wears what it is on its sleeve so heavily. It's like the whole point of the movie is that younger generations don't like older generations. Older generations are tired of the younger generations, and everybody gets on everybody's nerves.
Yeah,
that was
and
the
this is
whole point of the movie.
Ongoing cycle.
Yeah,
it's always going to be that way.
Always been that way.
Yeah.
So
forever and will be.
And that's what the movie had to say. That's basically it.
But I do think I will give it kudos to saying that they handled it well. That it is kind of like, I don't know, that they allow people to take their own idea from it of it's okay to be, well, I guess they did kind of shit on old people just across the board. It really didn't give any kind of, except for the dad.
Little bits is like the dad, like, hey, you should let your dad teach you how to drive a stick shift.
And
there are things that maybe you should learn some things from your parents so that if you end up in a situation where you need those skills and you can't help yourself.
Okay, but the rotary phone.
Oh yeah, so
it's been
funny.
Done
it's been done a lot.
Times.
Well, name one movie.
Do it, Chris.
I have never seen that. I've seen people joke about it. I'm talking to you, Dublin.
I can't remember
joke about it in person, but I've never seen that in a movie before, let alone in a tense horror, intense air quotes, horror scene where they were like, "We need to call 911." Oh fuck! It's a rotary phone. What is this?
All right,
like that was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't name any specific horror.
It's never been done before.
I mean, it made me laugh. It did make me laugh. It was.
I mean, it made me laugh because it was
so stupid.
Stereotypical.
Yeah, it's so stereotypical.
It was just like, oh, fucking Zoomers don't know how to work a rotary. Like, you can figure it out. Like, I give Zoomers the benefit of the doubt. It was with any people. Maybe I'm wrong in this. I was just like, maybe they are that stupid. But like,
just go around and give rotary phones to Zoomers and be like,
can you figure this out? Like, of course you can, but it's not that difficult. Like,
be like, stressful situation, do it now.
Yep, a clown is chasing you with a knife.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, in a stressful situation. Yeah. But give that to anybody.
While covered in your friend's blood.
Right, there you go.
Well, you were joking about the Finn's brother, so I might have slurred my words a little bit.
Well, there was that scene was fun too. There's a moment where somebody gets impaled, and then the pitchforks go into the light, and they're dying, and then she like pulls the pitchfork out of her friend, and she's like laying there, and she's like, "I hate you,"
and the dude is like, "I hate you too."
Yeah, like that was funny. Like there's some fun bits like that where I'm like, there's those little bits where I'm like, this kind of saves it from being like bad.
That's for me why it's not a bogus. This is a low decent, I think, where I'm sitting with it. Probably like a 41. Right. But it's because of those kind of dumb comedic moments that just worked for me or worked on me, I guess. I don't know. And like I thought it was funny also. I mean, not as funny as a rotary fumble, and she gets in the car and it's a manual. She's like, "Fuck, it's a manual." Yeah. And she's like trying. That'd be me in a manual. I've never driven a manual. I saw like, from that because they kept like, oh yeah, I mean that was foreshadowed.
Yeah, but that's the thing. For me, it's so predictable.
Right. There was never a moment
that you couldn't enjoy it because you predicted it.
Was that?
You couldn't enjoy it because you could predict.
Not in this circumstance. Like with these kind of things, it's such a stereotype or a trope of just like a rotary phone. This is like Facebook memes that like 60-year-old people are passing on like, oh, Zoomers don't know how to work a rotary phone. Yeah. It's that kind of humor where I'm just like, they'll figure it out. Like, sure, maybe they don't know. I don't know. It's not that funny though. Like, people, you don't know how to fucking work an email or an auto response. Like, you don't know how to fucking code in Python. I'm not gonna fucking make fun of you.
Oh, but it could be funny though. We could do a horror movie where they have to write code and like make an app that stops a bomb or something. Right. I'm on it.
Don't know what they don't know, and regardless of their, generation. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a pussy, and it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't think it's not that funny to me. Like, it hit no chords for me. It was just like, let's make fun of boomers, let's make fun of Gen Z, let's make fun of Gen X. Like, all that stuff has been so overdone in just normal news. Right. Of like fucking millennials, they killed the Diamond Corporation. Like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. It was like a lot of those like open lines of like, you hate the planet. Like, oh yeah, I don't eat things with faces. And you're just like,
it's so much of that I've heard for fucking the past 20 plus years, to where I'm so numb to it. It had no impact it definitely wasn't funny, but it wasn't offensive. It was just like nothing. It was just like, yep, this is fucking CNN talking about, millennials killing the fucking Emerald Corporation. Like, I don't care. Like, hey, great joke. We did it.
I guess I'm just not jaded to those kind of jokes. Yeah, kind of work on me because that's what it sounds like. It's like you've heard it so much that you're just like, it's not funny anymore.
For sure. Yeah, because it's all just like generational hate. Yeah, and I'm so over
it. Comedy.
It could be, and apparently it is
for some people.
But for me, it's just like, I don't give a shit. Like,
it's just, I think there's going to be a lot of people that vote for a lot of it.
I think a lot of people probably come out and say this movie is heinous or bogus.
I do think, like I said, I do think a lot of like the Gen Zers that are young that end up going in to see this will probably like it a good.
You think so?
I think so.
Yes, I 100% think so. That we're the wrong generation. I don't think anybody older than us will like it. Yeah, I think people that are maybe like 23 and younger that are like just getting into horror movies are, and even saying that,
I don't know that they're gonna love it. Yeah, it probably won't break like a rad for most people. There's just nothing that's like, yeah, this is great. Like,
to me, this feels like the same pandering that we would get with fucking Chuck E. Cheese. Right. Like, to me, like, Chuck E. Cheese is dog shit. All of their commercials were like the most pandering bullshit, and it made me like ick, I think is what the kids call it these days. Dude, I hated it because it was like all of these like fucking middle part bleach blonde kids. Yeah, my age, of just like, they were like, oh, we're hip and cool with it. And that's what I feel like this movie is doing to fucking millennials or whatever, Zoomers, whatever the newest thing is.
It's too heavy-handed to be like,
it is funny. I feel that is, I could be wrong. I could be.
I mean, every person
completely out of
has their own opinion
here, but I feel like this felt to me like it was an heavy-handed, trying to relate with a certain generation that they don't understand, and making a humor. I could be wrong. 100% could be. I wish that we had like a. No, that would be really invasive of just like, like understanding what generation you were born in and how you voted this.
Right.
Obviously, we don't want to have that kind of police state, but I would love to understand if Zoomers liked this movie because to me, like from my generation, because I
think that many
hated
people are
that
going to
shit.
see this movie.
I don't
like.
either.
I don't know if we'll even
Sure,
get like 10 reviews.
There was like
by the end of the weekend.
We probably won't. It was like one showing, barely full theater, or not even full, but barely like anybody in our theater, and
2 other people,
multiple people that were in there. I think snuck in. There was somebody on the world's fastest handicap scooter that zoomed out of there. It was
literally they
wild.
came in halfway through the movie. I've never seen this before.
Yeah,
you and I laughed about it.
Yeah,
because they like came in and then somebody came in with them. They stayed for like 2 minutes, then turned around and just left.
right.
And I mean, I've seen people jump movies
and they were just like
wide.
standing up in the front. Like the dude that was with the handicap person was just standing there, like in front of the screen. There were people that like clearly ditched, that came in early and then decided to leave and talk through the whole thing. Like it was just a bunch of crap. It was weird. We don't normally see that, but we also don't see a bunch of horror like stuff like this. That's kind of these smaller or whatever. Like it's just not the type of stuff we tend to watch. We watch stuff in Dolby where people actually pay for decent seats. You know.
Yeah.
So
maybe this movie's hurt by being a rated R. I normally don't say that, but like maybe it wasn't R enough, and maybe it should have been in PG-13. But I mean, some of the kills were cool, which later on, I mean, I just like seeing gory kills. So like getting a chainsaw through your face is fun for me. Anyways, Chris is over there hating on stuff.
No, I mean I agree with you, but it's just this interpretation of it wasn't well done.
Right.
Like I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I love a chainsaw through the face, body, or whatever it is. Murder the shit out of these people, but make it good.
Right. There were only
this
a couple
wasn't
in here
good
that were like
to me.
good. Like for me.
No, I agree. There was only a couple, but I mean those were enough for me. Plus the comedy to stay decent.
Just tossing the head around, somebody's severed head, and different things.
That was a little ridiculous because I'm pretty sure they would have smelled the blood.
Right.
Like been like, oh, this is a bloody head. Well, it's like if you want to nitpick something, actually, in my mind, was the clowns going to the doctor's office. And just being like waiting for him, I guess, to like drive by to like. And then they were like, do surgery on him.
They could have been that they were going to work on themselves because like one of the clowns gets shot and they try to save him. And
blows his hand blown off.
Or hand blown off, and they're wanting to save him. And the doctor is the dad and he shows up and different things.
But that also kind of like defeats the purpose of any subtlety they had with mystery behind the clowns.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So like it felt like it was trying to be like, who are these clowns? Are they actual clowns from outer space that are trying to kill people? But then like they subvert themselves by being like, oh, this is a human being. We need to save them. So there's no mystery. It was just like, oh, this is 100% the old people, which I'm surprised none of y'all have like picked up on like the hate towards old people in this. And not just old people, it's like people over 30 they specifically said, where it was like
they hate us.
People over 30 are fucking dumbasses and they're pieces of shit. Which I'm like fair enough, but you know,
I just don't care enough. Could be. And to me, those people look like they're in their 50s or 60s. So I'm just like,
all of them.
I hate those people too.
Yeah, there's nobody in their 30s except for the high schoolers. There was one high schooler there who 100% was in their 30s, 100%. But it's just, I don't know. There was no mystery. There was no subterfuge or subtlety behind the.
Well, it's because they already blew their shot. With them all coming out of their, they just shot their loads.
Thank you
for you, Chris.
Thank you.
Once they came out, because the second they all walked out of the cornfield, I was like, oh, it's all the old people. Like I wasn't questioning it, and then like when the sheriff took away the one kid, and I was like, oh, this is definitely
who's the rich kid. You're like, oh, he's cherry picking this one kid because otherwise the scene doesn't make sense, and you're just like, what is even happening? But it was easily like
nothing surprising.
Every moment you're like, yep, that's what's going on here. That's what's going on.
So
here.
Predictable.
So it is
at that point for sure.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
So I hope that next week Final Destination is better. Those movies are
it
ones
will be.
That, it will be.
I'm saying it right now.
I don't know. It will be. The later Final Destinations really kind of like dropped in quality.
This is a total reboot though. This is like they're bringing,
is it a reboot?
Yeah.
It's called the Final Destination 5 though.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought they were considering this like a restart.
I mean, they like I don't know anything about it, but if you call something 5, to me that's not.
Oh, I didn't know it was called 5.
It's a good point.
I'm certain it's 5.
No, it is called Bloodlines. Final Destination Bloodlines. So
there's a skull.
Yeah, there is a skull. So yeah, Final Destination Bloodlines. So yeah, I had, from what I gather, I mean, it's sticking with what the series is known for, but it is going to be R-rated because it's got to be. If they made one of these that wasn't, everyone would be furious. But
Where the past ones are?
Yes.
I actually was wondering that.
That's
are they?
surprising,
I
actually.
thought
Because the kills aren't like necessarily gruesome, and it's one of those. I watched 1 and 2.
I would have
relatively recently, right? And I don't remember ever being like this was super gruesome.
It's not crazy,
like intricate.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like the log scene in the second one, but even then, it wasn't like.
Oh yeah, it's R.
Trauma.
Okay, they're all R.
I know the first one is.
Okay.
That's surprising because they weren't like that gruesome, or
they must have just been on the cusp. Just
also,
like right there,
the 90s or early 2000 were different standards.
Sure.
Yeah. So these movies, though, were known as shock and awe movies that kind of burned moments into your head where it's like, oh, this event, if I'm ever in this situation, I'm going to be terrified for the rest of my life about it. Like, I don't. I was about to say, everyone says log trucks. No one has seen log trucks the same since.
Oh, yeah. And literally, it's funny. Everyone talks about this all the time. And I see TikToks. I saw a TikTok 3 days ago. And it was this truck that had a log through the front of it.
Yeah.
Right through the driver's seat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like it stopped like right before the driver.
Wow.
And I was like, oh. And that's what the TikTok literally was like.
Yeah.
I've been justified.
Yep. I just saw here. Apparently it's like on the trivia for this movie, it literally says that they tried to do that scene with real logs, but the logs wouldn't bounce enough. So they ended up having to do CG logs because they couldn't get the logs to bounce up and come at the camera.
Good to know.
Right.
So logs don't bounce.
We're a little safer on the road.
That's right. You're safe out there. So but I hope it's good. I know that one of the kills takes place in a tattoo parlor, so that will be interesting.
Interesting, because this thing is in I think the second movie, it was like there's a setup for like the kill. It's like in a house, and you kept being like, "What's the kill gonna be?
Right?
What's the kill?" It's like, "Oh, is this gonna fall on her? No. Okay, is that gonna electrocute her? No."
It's like the monkey.
Yeah. Yes, it was like the monkey.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Right.
Good call. Hey, you remember?
I remember.
No, he remembers a movie he watched.
I remember.
Was that a horror movie?
No.
Okay.
Just
it was
a comedy.
Humor, it was
murder comedy.
Exactly.
So I actually did forget. I did rewatch something that we reviewed. I know we didn't talk about it earlier, but Sid and I watched Companion. I saw it.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't here for the review, nor have I seen it since.
It's on Max, so
I'll pirate it. I mean, I'll sail some seas.
Yes, but I watched it. Still like it a lot. So it
okay.
The robots, AI, something like that, right?
You have to watch it.
I'll watch it.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Was that like the hook?
Don't know. Can't tell you. You have to watch.
Can't say.
If it's the hook, then it's kind of like whatever.
It's not exactly. No.
Okay.
Not exactly.
Then I'll watch it.
Yeah. I think you'll probably like it. I'm As Good Movies rated it yesterday and gave it like a 90 or something, like pretty high.
Yeah,
it's on her watch list. So I'm hoping.
Yeah,
we'll sit down and watch one of these days.
So, but yeah.
Sit on.
But I think that's pretty much it for this. We had Faith hop in. What's up, Faith? How are you doing?
Hey.
Glad you hopped in the chat. And to everybody that's hung out this whole time and gotten the spoilers and all that fun stuff, Pickle Lips and Wine Fiend, Miss Criticless, Caveat Ties, Jared, all you guys, thanks for coming in here. And I know lots of people end up leaving at spoilers in case they do want to check this out. But as far as the general consensus on this movie, sounds like Clown in a Cornfield is probably either way not going to be anything you need to rush out to see. But if you maybe catch it on streaming, maybe watch it.
That's the thing. This is one of those movies that could be fun to sit around with, like you're like drinking and you have a handful of people and you just crack on it.
Right.
It could be fun for that.
More fun than like, oh, we're gonna sit down and watch this together.
Right.
Again, not a horror movie.
No, it's not.
In any.
It's not even
scary.
I still think it's a horror light. It's like on the light spectrum.
But there's nothing even
with the gory kills, it still makes it a horror movie. Horror scary doesn't mean horror.
Okay, but gore and horror are separate things. Well, we don't have to talk about this.
We've had that many times.
We can fight about this later, but
we do.
There's not horror. To me, is like scary, like scary to the extreme.
Like I think about like another one too, like 13 Ghosts.
Dude, that actually scares.
Sure,
I mean,
that's like super
movie.
good.
Yeah,
but there's a difference. It's just like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, all right.
Nobody cares what I have to say. It's fine.
We can go on and on about this because we have.
Maybe we should do 13 Ghosts because it has a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
Oh,
and it had Matthew Lillard in it. I forgot he was in that.
And Monk.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know his name.
The guy plays Monk.
Yeah, Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth
Taylor.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember thinking that was cool. Or like, what was it?
I remember it scaring the shit out of me as a kid.
Yeah, it scared me as a kid too. We might not find it scary now. Also, was it like?
I've rewatched
I think
it.
about,
We're talking about House of Wax.
Ghost Ship. Also, remember Ghost Ship?
Oh yeah, the opening scene where everyone
gets
chopped. That actually scared me a lot.
Yes.
Too.
Also scary one.
So I came back to the movies that didn't scare me. It didn't like scare me enough that I couldn't sleep, but it was a movie I like refused to watch.
It's funny, like all these movies we've mentioned, they're all coming up in the same search block, like as being connected kind of in Google, like as I'm searching, I guess due to the same time and everything else. But
Google knows all.
Yeah. Ghost Ship was good. 13 Ghosts was good. These are all those movies from that time that were really, horror was on point during that 2000s period.
Right.
Yeah. Did you mention House of Wax? I think you did.
Yeah, that was one we were talking about earlier. House of Wax is good stuff. I am curious.
Pleasantly surprised by that movie.
Yeah, I think that was a cool one too. I don't know as far as if it's it is critic hated.
Which one?
House of Wax.
House of Wax.
Yeah, but also not really audience loved.
It's semi 44.
How do people not like this?
Right. I've seen it several times.
No. I mean, there's some cheesy action,
like
but it works. It leans into the horror element later.
Man, so either way, it sounds like
we might leave this vote to the people.
Yeah,
we have like 2 good contenders for 2 weeks from now.
Yep, for some good horror ones. But I will say there are some horror movies where I will just be like, no. There's just some that I don't watch. Like, and then Chris is kind of in that same boat to some degree.
Which
as well.
one?
I'm not gonna say what type of horror movies I don't like, but no. Well, like I'm not big on like stuff like Texas Chainsaw and certain ones like that.
Sure, pulling the gun out of your vagina.
Yeah. There's certain ones that just like make me kind of nauseous, and I don't like to feel that way. Actually, Pickle Lips brought up House on Haunted Hill. That's another good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of good ones. So we'll poll the audience and see what everybody wants us to do on week 3. But as we said, next week is going to be Final Destination, and I think that's it for today, guys.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
Thanks for hopping into the chat, everybody, and hanging out with us. And we're going to do send-off songs really quick, and we will dip out of here. But anybody already got either of y'all got your songs pulled up?
Sure do.
Okay, Chris, go ahead.
I have a song by GFOTY, which is Girlfriend of the Year, apparently. And it's called Congrats. And this is the song I was talking about, Matt, that I think you might like because it's kind of like baby metal.
Sure.
With screamo. I haven't listened to very much like baby metal. So, but there's like screaming, but it's like still baby metal.
Is this like a hard rock, like heavy metal? Like, is there heavy guitars, heavy drum and stuff?
Yeah,
like driving, like
segmentally. Like there's certain parts where it's just like la 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 la, but then there's like where it's screaming.
Color me
so it is interesting, and I would say just if you're enjoying screaming / metal-y music, check it out.
Sweet.
I always love those kind of things.
Please do.
Screaming metal.
So
music.
GFOTY is the artist, and the song is Congrats.
Okay.
All
right.
Sweet.
You want to go next, Brian? Are you still finding one?
Yeah. No, no, you go.
Okay. Mine is VAN.
Van.
It's not. It is Van, but it's not Van. There's a period between each.
Oh.
Okay.
And it stands for Violence Against Nature.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
By Poppy, which I'm actually pretty sure I've done at least one other Poppy song for. And this is a up and coming chick metalhead.
Okay.
And this song is great because it has this like driving, like kind of like dubstep, and then she's the way she sings this song is very like technical sounding and almost like haunting in some ways. And I'm just like, okay, I'm here for it. Because then she does get into screaming. There are some guitars, but it's like with techno going on. So not a nice like genre mashup, which seems to be like going on nowadays, which I really appreciate.
So Van,
it does VAN, by Poppy. And I will say it does get a little repetitive because she says Van or Violence Against Nature
Bad Omens.
A lot. Bad Omens is the other part. I think he's the techno part of it, but she's the one singing. Like Bad Omens doesn't sing at all. So I don't really contribute to the song now.
Sure, he does the music part.
Yeah,
or the dubstep part.
Yeah, but it's pretty good. And actually, Chris, you might like this a lot. This reminds me of a song you did a long time ago.
Literally have it
that I can't remember the name of, but I listened to a ton.
Oh,
after you like suggested.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I can look it up, but it was like in my like top 20 a couple of years ago.
Oh shit.
From You're one of your
That makes me feel
Look at that,
good.
Chris. You had a good suggestion.
I'm so excited.
All
I
right,
do have a song. So yeah, I did a couple weeks. I mentioned I've been listening to a lot of hip hop, like modern hip hop.
Old school.
Old school style hip hop.
Sure.
And there's a guy named Pat Jr. He's like this heavy set, big black dude with a blonde beard, and just cool dude, cool vibes. He does this song with another guy named Tekkaby Hines or something. But anyways, the song's called Nothing to Lose.
Tickle my behind. Yeah.
Kick me from behind.
Not that. But yeah, Nothing to Lose by Pat Jr. This guy's really cool. It's just like I said, it's that old school kind of retro hip hop, but it's new. He's indie. He's not very big or popular right now. He actually is a big guy, but he's not popular.
He's big.
Yes, he is.
But not in the cultural.
Not cultural.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good stuff. I really like him. So Nothing to Lose by Pat Jr. It's more hip hop. I think it's good stuff. I've been listening to it a lot lately. So yeah, check that out. And we do have another song super from Cave Titties. And I'm gonna let this isn't
I'll do it.
No, this is cool. And this is neat. Go ahead and
All
read
right,
what
so
you
it's
wrote.
Noir from the album Anthology by the Crimson Titan Studios. This is a song from his up-and-coming comic book Noir Anthology.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Caveat has a Noir anthology that he's been working on. He's shared some of it online. I keep meaning to buy it, and every time I go to do it, I don't have my wallet on me. I am going to do it, I promise, because I do want to check it out. And he did a prequel, I think, as well. So it's a very cool black and white noir style. At least some of what I've seen is kind of that black and white style, very gritty. And I love noir stuff. So it sounds cool. But this is a song that's going to be I guess, connected to the anthology book he's doing. So that's
and I
really
think
neat.
he also has a audiobook version of it.
Oh, really?
He's shared some of it.
Interesting. I thought it was a graphic novel, though.
I'm trying to remember. And Cave Titties, you can confirm or deny this, but I'm pretty sure he shared it that he's reading himself.
Oh,
and it was on Spotify or something like that.
Cool.
I could be wrong. I could be misremembering, but
okay. Well, very interesting. We will confirm, and we can say on another show or whatever too. But yeah,
you pay us money, we will say it.
Book, and yeah, we'll put a link. Well, I don't know if we can put links in our stuff yet. Actually, he said he has audiobooks of his novels.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was thinking about.
He was right. So yeah, but thanks for the fiver, buddy, and we will definitely check that out. That's really cool. So, and says that his audiobooks are on Spotify. So there you go. You can find it on the interwebs. So cool stuff. And check all that out. And we will be back next week. Everybody take it easy. This has, as happens from time to time, probably a more fun review for us than the movie that we watched. It happens here to there. So,
easy to do.
Yeah. So anyways, but everybody take it easy. Later.
Later, everybody.
Arrivederci.